We are live.
Are we live?
I think we're live. Did anybody?
Are we live?
Oh wait.
Oh wait.
Wait. Are we live?
I see us.
Holy.
Is this real? Yeah, I know, right?
Wait, why am I hearing? Hello. Test.
I hear you. It says we're live, bro. Everybody can see us.
Okay. Are we okay? We're there.
I think we're good.
Okay, I think we're good. Good. Yeah, there was something was messed up there. We're on. Yes, everybody's saying we're on. That was a weird sort of, because I got several monitors going. Yeah, and there was a glitch happening. There's something weird going on with the software. There was something, and then there was a massive delay. Did you guys see the whole opening? Like when it comes on and it says, 30, 29, 28, 27, 26. Did you guys see all of that? Yeah, the intro from 30 down to 0. I know it sort of began to play again.
Or we're me and Dave just sitting here like...
Yeah, did you guys catch the intro? Yes, people are saying yes. So you saw it right from 30 down to, yeah. I know it accidentally started to play again. It's weird. Like when I use OBS, right? To do live streams. The delay is like 5 seconds and it's consistent. I can match it, no issues whatsoever. With Wirecast, it's like you go on and there should be like a 7-second delay, but then all of a sudden nothing's showing up and it's been like 20 seconds and you're like, and then it kicks in and you're like, what is the delay? It was weird. Anyway, whatever. Well, get it.
I think I knew we were live because someone had typed, where did it say, what's your hoodie? So like when I saw what's your hoodie, I'm like, oh shit, I think we're live. But I didn't want to say anything until you started to talk.
Right.
I was like, oh, just wait.
I hate that though. I hate when it gets funky and it's not a smooth transition, but whatever.
Technology.
Hey, welcome to episode 28 of Two Dudes and Some Bullshit. Wait, we are live. There we go. This is
going to be a shit show.
This is Sunday, June the 23rd, 2019, and I picked this little mug up today. What do you guys think of that? Welcome to the shit show, ladies and gentlemen.
You're gonna die.
It's
I just think of like Welcome to the Jungle.
It's this little shot glass mug that I absolutely love. Hey,
you should write a song called "Welcome to the Shit Show," and it's like a parody, like a Weird Al parody of like "Welcome to the Jungle," Guns N' Roses. Do "Welcome to the Shit Show."
I should.
You really should.
Yeah. So Tony and I today we are talking Child's Play 2019. And for those of you that have not seen the movie, we are talking spoilers.
Heavy.
Yes, and this shouldn't be a surprise because the spoilers is in the title. I posted this live stream link yesterday morning, I believe it was, or maybe even the night before, I can't remember. It says spoilers in the description.
And I think you mentioned it on your community page too with the photo. I think you mentioned spoilers.
Did I? I might have. Yeah. It says warning spoilers in the description here as well. So Tony and I are talking spoilers. If there is somebody that has not seen the movie and you're like, oh man, I want this. I apologize, but this is what the show is. We got to do what we got to do, and you guys got to do what you guys got to do. And but the great thing about this show is that it's not like television from 1986. This will be in a location where you can revisit it in a couple of days, maybe when you've had a chance to see the film. So just be warned that yes, we are talking spoilers today. Now, if you're anything like me, a spoiler, it takes a lot to spoil a movie for me. Like,
true.
He told me enough. He told me you killed him. No, I am your father. That's a spoiler that nobody wants to know, right? But, I don't know. There's a lot of blood in this movie. Don't tell me that! It's not a fucking spoiler. Like, I know what is a spoiler to one's not necessarily a spoiler to another, but I have known the outcomes of certain movies throughout my life, and I've thoroughly enjoyed them while watching them. So, for me, it takes a lot to have a movie spoiled, per se. But, some people are of the camp where they're like, I don't even want to know he's wearing green shoelaces! And it's like, holy shit, that has nothing to do with anything, but okay. So, I don't know what camp you fall into. into, but just know that we are talking spoilers. So this is our thoughts on Child's Play, the remake of Child's Play 2019. Tony, Michael, what are your thoughts?
Oh, first, I gotta get just something really quickly off my chest, just something.
You
really
know what?
small.
I'm gonna take this little shot glass here.
You do that. The original, real quick, just gotta say this. The original 1988 Child's Play is a fucking classic. I don't care if you got 1.5 million subscribers. You are a fucking moron if you're going to sit there and say the original Child's Play that Don Mancini and everybody worked on, the animatronics, and how they put all that together in the original concept is not a classic horror film. You lose all credibility as a movie reviewer in my eye. With that said, the 2019 Child's Play, I had fun with it. There were some things with it that I thought I wish they would put a little more thought into it, like some of the gags and the kills in the movie. We'll get into that here shortly, because I thought the concept, I was like, fuck, this is pretty damn good. Like, I was surprised of the story arcs of the characters and everything around the plot of the movie. I was like, I'm buying it. It's not what I had thought going in, because I'm gonna be honest with you, my expectations were like, and it didn't exceed it, but it was like, like there, right. Not here, but like there. So that's kind of my first, impression. I'm sure we're gonna dive real deep into the, the plot and the stories here. But like first impressions, when you walked out of the theater, Dave, how was Dave McRae feeling? Sorry, man. I just yeah.
Okay,
Tony and I have been drinking as fucking Cunningham, goddamn blithering Nazi pig.
Name the movie.
Oh my God, I can picture the actor.
It's your favorite.
I know, it's my favorite. Jeez. Oh, say the line again. Say it just like
Cunningham, goddamn blithering Nazi pig.
Oh my God, I'm drawing a blank.
He's in a kitchen. There's a party happening.
I know. Oh my God, I'm drawing a blank. Oh, The Exorcist.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm like,
there you go.
Oh my God, I picture it. I'm picturing. I'm like, The Exorcist.
That's right. Okay,
40
so
years old, man. I'm 40 now. The memory's
it
not as
happens.
quick.
It happens.
Yeah.
It happens. Well, I'm only 21, so we're good. Hey, so I wish. Okay, so I haven't been talking about Chucky and Child's Play a lot on this channel, but in the videos that I have talked about the new movie in, there's a few of them on my channel. If you guys don't remember, I said this movie doesn't have to be spectacular, in my opinion, because of the 8 ball there behind, okay? And this is where my expectations were. And I said this, maybe some of you will remember this. If you can walk out of the movie theater, and I'm not saying everybody did, but if you could walk out of the movie theater and think to yourself or turn to your buddy or your wife or your girlfriend or husband or whatever the fuck it is and be like, you know what? That was all right. That was like, I enjoyed myself. I mean, that was okay. That was good. That was good. It wasn't a disaster. That was all right. Then I think it's a win. Now, that doesn't mean that it's going to make the money they want. That doesn't mean that... I think I even said, and I believe I said this. I said, if it could get 60% on Rotten Tomatoes, I said, I think that's a win. And as of right now, on Rotten Tomatoes, at this very second, it has 60% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah, and I think, close to 70 for audience, right?
It's 64 right now for audience.
All right.
So, but what that simply means is that 6 out of every 10 people essentially thought it was all right. Yeah, right. It was pretty good. And when I walked out of the theater, I remember thinking to myself that exact thing. I thought, you know what? This is all right. I still like the original Child's Play better, not just because, it has nothing really to do with Brad Dourif, okay? And it has more to do with the original Child's Play was there was a lot of sinister, creepy, slow burn to that film. It was a very, and like I've said ad nauseum on this channel, the original Child's Play, you didn't see Chucky, the Chucky we've known to come in the subsequent sequels until about 45 minutes into that movie, when the mother was finally threatening to throw him in the fire. What do you mean, bitch? You're not gonna... And it's like, oh my God. Up until that point, it was just the power of suggestion and this creepy, like there's shots, right, where, you know, Andy would go to bed with the doll and the camera would just slowly zoom up on the face, just kind of like, is that really, is there something? I mean, now we know, but watching that film back in 1988, it's like, oh, is that kind of like, you know, it's really creepy. Just here, there, you know, you don't see his face. So there was a very sinister, it took itself quite seriously in some respects. This Child's Play was very tongue-in-cheek.
Right.
A little more tongue-in-cheek.
Like, did you feel ever at moments like you felt bad for Chucky in this film?
Yes,
like, hey,
absolutely.
man,
Well, that's what I was going.
Boy, you know.
Yes. And I just want to say again, we have 128 people watching. We are talking spoilers in this stream. It is heavy in the spoilers. Subject. It's in the title. We are talking spoilers, ladies and gentlemen. So yes, you empathize with Chucky. You definitely get to see a relationship between Andy and Chucky in this movie more so than you did in the original. I mean, there wasn't and that's primarily because it's a different film, but the age is very different. I mean, you got 6-year-old Andy or 7-year-old or however old he was in the original, and then this young kid looks like he's maybe 12, 13, somewhere in there. So there's a big age gap there, and he's much more mature, he's much more independent, right? You know, if he was to ride the subway downtown with Chucky, I'd buy it. I have a little trouble believing that nobody was like, hey, look at this fucking kid, you know, that back in the original film. But so there was just that relationship between Chucky and Andy was interesting. And we got to empathize with Chucky. We almost felt bad for him because the AI, see, there's no evil spirit that is, you know, inhabiting this doll. It's AI that's been it's the safety measures have been turned off. So the doll is learning these behaviors as they go. So we're seeing a process of learning these behaviors, which could be very empathetic because you realize that, oh, it's not his fault. Right. To a degree. I mean, there's no excuses for it, but you're like, well, what do you expect? He's confused. He's not, you know, whereas Charles Lee Ray, from the very beginning, it was evil. Yes, it's pure evil because his spirit, his soul was in the doll. He knew consciously exactly what he was doing.
Well, and that's why I thought Texas Chainsaw 2 was the perfect choice, because the kids are watching it, which I thought was great because, you know, Chainsaw 2, I mean, you take it for what it is. It's black comedy, and I do like it, and I watch it for that. So I thought it was great that they threw that in there. And watching the kids laughing at the film, having fun with it, to the doll, he thought it was fucking normal. Just everyone's having fun with it. He didn't think what he was doing. Like you said, it took away all his ambition or inhibitions. And he just thought, oh, okay, this is fun. So I'm going to cut you. And I thought you would like it. I thought you would laugh.
Right. Because you see, and correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, I've obviously only seen the movie once, but when the beginning of the film, when we see the Thailand
that guy doing his thing.
Yeah. Thailand, right? I think it was.
Yeah.
In the shop, and he deactivates the safety measures. I don't get the impression that he's implementing evil measures into the doll. No. He's just deactivating the safety measures so it makes it possible for the doll to potentially learn behaviors that are not appropriate. Right? So it's not just all about the Kaslan, you know, the whole thing. He's completely free. So he can learn behaviors and things that he wouldn't ordinarily be programmed to learn because these measures are turned off. So that's a distinction that people have to remember, that it's not just that it's not the same Chucky, right? It's not the same sort of thing. So they did play on that, and you felt empathetic. And the people that he killed, not everybody, there were a couple of people that you know, probably didn't deserve it, but there were a fair amount of people that I'm glad he killed them.
Right. So that's exactly like when he kills the first guy there, the cheating bastard wife,
right?
Or the cheating bastard on his wife.
Yes.
I was like, yeah, like you want him to kill him, like you don't.
Yes,
want this
exactly.
around.
And same with the sleazy guy that's watching
the janitor. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of like,
You're cheering Chucky to do it, you know?
Right. Whereas in the original Child's Play, obviously, the babysitter, oh my God, right? And then you look at another, and what was the other one?
Oh man, the babysitter.
I'm drawing a blank now.
He blows up the house.
Right, or he starts to the cop, right? The cop. He starts to go after the cop in the car, right? And things like that. And the car, flips over and it blah blah blah. It's almost like it's not quite to Child's Play 2 where, how's it hanging, Phil? Where you don't necessarily want Phil to die, but certainly he's got kind of a chip on his shoulder and, about this kid. And you get the sense he doesn't really want this kid and blah, blah, blah. But you don't necessarily want him to die. You know what I mean? Because it's not like he's doing anything horrific necessarily. So, but with this Child's Play, there were a few characters that the kills were cool, and it was definitely gory and a lot of fun to watch, but I couldn't care less whether that they died. So the stakes in terms of oh shit, no, get out of there. There was no get out of there. There was good. I hope he fucking dies.
Pretty much.
The whole movie, it was fun, and it was quick. It was like an 89-minute film. It rolled
like the original.
Yes, like the original, but this was faster paced.
Yes,
and I felt it had an 80s vibe to it. The cinematography, had a very sort of 80s kind of tone to the film, and I walked away like it's a different. It's almost like I went to see a stage play of Child's Play, where when you go to watch a play of a known property. When you go to watch a play of a known property, it's not the same actors, right? It's not the same. There's maybe it's like a retelling of this story, and they have to change things up to fit the stage presentation. Right. So there's certain things they'd have to leave out, certain things they'd have to put in, maybe it's very engaging with the audience, maybe it's not. And this just felt like it was a different, which obviously it is, but it was a very different interpretation of the Child's Play story, and you're either going to like it or you're not. But it's not, I don't think it's a bad movie. I think it's okay. It was a different take on it. Do you think the same way? Like, do you feel kind of like it was all right,
No, that's exactly. I walked in there with low expectations, and it didn't exceed it. Like I said earlier, it just kind of was like, oh wow, it was fun. Like the first kill, the cheating bastard, great gag, great kill, very creative. I thought it was like when it came to the creepy janitor who was spying on Aubrey Plaza. I thought that gag, that kill was like, I don't know. Like, I'm not going to jump up on a fucking table saw, trying to get away from this doll. Like, it felt like it was too set up to kill the guy.
Yes, I did think that too, because how could, like, he's looking down. How could he not see the saw? That, like, don't you think there's another? I mean, I noticed that too. It that seemed was like, very set up.
I thought, like, man, you guys have put so much into the storytelling, which has been great so far. Don't shortchange the gags. And then I thought they brought it back. They brought it home, and they got it back on track. Because who else gets it after him? The mom. I thought that was a nice little wink and nod to the '80s Child's Play. Clearly, because of the car scene with the cop. Right. And it's just reversed now. Instead of the cop being in the car, it's the cop's mom.
That's right.
So I thought that was like, okay, I liked it. And then, of course, with the whole – because you know what? I'm glad they put it in there with the driveless fucking cars, because those things fucking freak me out.
Oh, yeah.
They really do, because when you don't have a driver in there, like, how the fuck does this car know it needs to fucking stop and react like a human would react in a situation? I know they're pushing them to, I think Tesla is, right, trying to push them the
self-driving cars, yeah.
Self-driving cars, like, those things fucking – there's a lot of truth to where this world is going to in this movie. So I did like how they tied that in. The drone thing, I thought the drone kill, I was like, okay. First of all, I've been hit by a drone several times. With my stupidity, sometimes when I fly that sucker back in, I go to try to reach it and be slick and pull it down, and that damn thing hits me in the head as it's spinning. Right. Never cuts me or anything like that. So I thought that I get what they were doing, and I thought, like, okay, that was creative, that was inventive. And then who else gets it? There was the mom. There was the guy with the drones.
There's the guy in the big Chucky head that gets his throat
Well, he ends up getting the drone. He ends up after he gets slashed.
Oh, that's the yeah.
And then he gets killed with the drone. I'm trying to
think
There was 5 people all together. Well, the guy commits suicide at the beginning.
Yeah.
Is that it? Is that all the gags?
Yeah, because the mom doesn't die. So,
no, mom doesn't die. The cop does the cop? No, cop's alive.
Cop survives.
End. Right.
Yep.
None of the kids die.
No, which is unfortunate.
Okay, let me ask you this now, because now, it's clearly this is how Hollywood is writing their scripts, and I get it. So you have to either learn to accept it or not. But did you like the fact that once again the men were being dumbed down in this, and the women were the badasses in the film?
No, that didn't bother me. That didn't bother me.
It didn't bother me either, because I thought it was well placed. I just feel that movies need to hold off on the Stranger Things vibe, because I did felt that with the kids, that once again we got somebody else, like, you know, 80 summer of 84 or 84, whatever, they did it, and other movies are implementing that Stranger Things vibe with the kids, like, and you got to be careful, because you keep implementing that into movies, it's going to hurt the movies, because that people aren't going to associate it with your movie, they're going to associate it with Stranger Things.
Absolutely. It's overall, I liked the movie. I didn't love the movie, but I liked it. I got what I expected to get. Now, in terms of the way Chucky looks, I know a lot of people don't like it. A lot of people are fine with it. I'm okay with it, but I certainly can see what people don't like about it. And I can certainly see what people are saying. The original Good Guy doll has a very innocent child, I don't want to say realistic, but a very sort of authentic, childlike sort of face. This new Chucky has a very almost ventriloquist dummy looking face. And it doesn't look real. Not that the Good Guy doll looks real, but I think you know what I'm trying to say. More lifelike, I guess I could say. So the innocence that you see in the original Good Guy doll, the transition between that and Charles Lee Ray as Chucky, the contrast is very nice. But again, this is it's AI, right? So you have to play to that. Like, even when he's killing the boyfriend, right? And he's on top, and he's like, you know, this is for Tupac, right? Okay, cute and funny. It's funny because because of his technology, he's able to mimic and learn other people's patterns and voices and things. I mean, it's like a parrot, you know, or something like that. So I get that. If this was the original Chucky, you would have seen, this is for Tupac, fucker, you know, and like whatever, right. Because it's not AI. It's a real soul and person in there. This is it. They had to, and I found myself at points kind of going, oh, I wish you would have gone a little, I wish you could have gone just, but at the same time, they didn't want to do that because they had to keep true to this is technology learning these behaviors. If we suddenly had him go, this is for Tupac, fucker, it'd be like, where did this come from? Right? Because it's not a learned behavior, unless there was somewhere in the story where we saw that kind of, you know, behavior. So you almost pigeonhole where you can, the range of emotions that you can have with Chucky. And at the same time, though, it was an interesting take because it was subtle, and the facial expressions didn't really bother me. I got used to it. It didn't bother me really. And maybe that's because I'm not a hardcore fanatic of the original series, but it's noticeable and it's different. But I don't think it's the shit show that some people say it is. But that's my opinion. How do you feel about the look of the doll?
I thought the look of the doll was great. I had no problems with I thought I honestly did. Actually, I posted something on my Instagram stories. It was one of the still images that they had released that we saw publicly before the movie came out. And it was the shot of Chucky, and I like looked at it, and everybody agreed with me and was messaging me. I put on my Instagram story. I was like, "Doesn't Chucky look like a young Christopher Walken?" Like, I just now I want to picture. I want to hear.
Hello, I'm there. Come on.
Exactly. That's like That's how I'm waiting for this new Chucky to sound like, because he looked like a young.
I'm your best friend till the end.
That would have been fucking great. But yeah, so like It didn't bother me. Because again, I felt like this was a true reimagining. They're not telling the same story. I like the fact that Andy was what I hoped he would be, which is a 13-year-old boy that's like, thanks, Mom, but this is kind of last year. I'm a little too old for this. But then he had some moments where he's like, all right, this isn't so bad after all. And the way they presented it, it did make sense. Like I can see a young 13 to, well, I would say between 10 to 13-year-old, hanging with the doll, doing homework, stuff like that. It made sense. It wasn't like Andy in the original Child's Play, where Andy had that damn thing by his side all the time, like you said, on the train and everywhere else. This Andy in the new one, there was a separation. He didn't depend on the doll, because I think he himself felt like, I'm a little bit older. But because like you had those other things in there, like when they're, the kids were like, hey man, do it. This is for Tupac, teaching him that stuff. I'm like, okay, this is believable. I can see a 13-year-old, even though most 13-year-old kids today are playing Fortnite and that's all they're doing. They don't care about, technology and whatnot. Not that they don't care, I shouldn't say that. But like, for example, I bought my nephew a boosted board, an electric skateboard. Thing's $1,500. Thing sits in my sister's house, doesn't do nothing. And she said, I told you should have bought him the damn controller for the damn game. You know what I mean? Like, because that's all they care about right now. And so the way they wrote it in the arc of this movie, I was like, they did a really good job with that it made it believable. Like, the doll wasn't around all the time, and that, Andy didn't depend on it like I thought going into.
Yeah, and to be fair, that's a very good point. And to be fair to the beginning, I know some people were sort of have mixed feelings about how Chucky came to be this way, and I can see what they're saying. I mean, like I said at the top of the stream, Chucky is AI, so it's learned behavior. So the extreme that you're gonna get, you're not gonna get unless it's learned somehow. And so with the guy in Thailand sort of turning off all the safety features, I do think that maybe there should have been another element to that. So I mean, maybe he comes back. Like maybe the opening is a little longer. It's 2 or 3 minutes longer, and we see him the next day, and we see him maybe reprogramming something into the doll, right?
Sure.
Not programming evil, but programming things the doll's more aggressive, because the guy in Thailand turning off the safety features.
Vietnam, by the way.
Or sorry, Vietnam. Thank you. I knew it was somewhere over there. The guy in Vietnam, although he programmed or he removed the safety features, well, so what? I mean, so you remove the safety features, so the probability now is that the doll is not going to work in the way it's supposed to work, and it might learn behaviors, whatever. But he would have had no idea, at least, correct me if I'm wrong, but he would have had no idea that the doll was going to end up doing that. I mean, it could have wound up in the hands of somebody who recognized that it wasn't working properly and just taken it back, or chucked it out.
Why did he kill himself? By the way, I didn't understand that.
Well, I think because he was, I think at the beginning it's the, throwaway lines of the slap and the you're no good and you're a bum from the street and blah, 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 blah. And
I get that, but like, you didn't need to go all suicidal.
No, but you see, and what is the doll that's being shipped to America? How is that revenge on anybody? It's not like, why would you do that? I'm removing all the safety features. Okay. I mean, you don't know where the doll is going. You don't know whose hands it's going to end up in. If you knew that your angry, pissed off, arrogant piece of shit boss was buying the doll, then you'd be like, hey, because you know who it's going to and you're getting direct revenge on him.
To be honest, I thought they should have in the story arc telling is the doll should have been fine. There should have been some other way of getting the doll from the factory to Aubrey Plaza's character to Andy, and I thought that what they should have done with the kids, the doll was fine and everything was great. The kids found a way to maybe override shit, and then they started fucking around and started to make the doll do some other stuff, like typical mischief teenage shit. But then it backfires on them, and the doll fucking goes nuts.
Right,
that's what I thought they should have done.
That's not a bad idea, because the doll then begins to learn certain the behaviors, right?
Yes.
The doll is always going to learn certain behaviors. That's the premise of the film. That's not a bad idea. That is something that I definitely would have explored.
Kids would be like, hey, man, because you can, with the boosted board, kids can override it to go faster, and things like that, So I'm sitting here thinking that whole Vietnam, they could have done without it. There was no need for it. I get why they did it, but I think that had they approached it from the kids overriding it, making Chucky do stupid stuff, but then all of a sudden it, like I said, it backfires and Chucky starts killing people. Now it's like,
because it also,
what did we do?
Right, because it also shows you the abuse that Chucky is perhaps facing at the hands of these kids.
Exactly, because you're already making us feel bad for Chucky, so you've got us there. Why not go that route?
That's true, too, because, that's a very good point. If they were going to keep the beginning they have, I just think they should have extended it by 2 or 3 minutes just to have the guy do something. Maybe he installs a computer chip that gives it a certain set of sequences of AI that the other dolls don't have, which is a very high probability of poor behavior or learning certain things. You know what I mean? Something like that maybe would have helped with that. But your idea is good too. And, but definitely there is empathy that we need to feel for the doll. We're definitely rooting for Chucky in a lot of the scenes, which is great. But then it just becomes it's just a fun ride. It's just like going on I'm not particularly attached to the story. I'm not particularly attached to the characters. I'm not particularly attached to Chucky. I just feel like I went to Universal Studios and went on Chucky the ride, and that's what it was. I sat in a little thing and I went through a hallway.
Like a theater or a show of it.
Exactly. Like a theater or show. And that's not a bad thing. I think it's fine. And I don't think it's a shit show. I don't think it's garbage. I don't think it's a pile of shit. I think if you're comparing it to the original, well, okay. But
it's my third favorite in the entire franchise. I like 1 and 2. Those are my first 2 favorites. And then this would be right after the second one.
Right. Now, I will say this. Let's talk about Mark Hamill. So, Mark Hamill was hired on...
Do you think, by the way, how many memes do you think are coming down the road here with E.T. and the new Chucky and the lighting of the finger? They're coming.
Yeah,
they're going to come. Someone's going to put them two together, and some...
Oh, yeah. I could totally see that.
Memes are coming.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. So... Mark Hamill was announced as the voice of Chucky a few months ago. And I said that was a brilliant move, primarily because of marketing. Now, Mark Hamill everybody loves Mark Hamill. I don't have a bad thing to say about him. He's extremely talented. He's a talented voice actor. Absolutely. But let's not kid ourselves. I don't believe for one second. Now, I know that the director is a big fan of Mark Hamill, so maybe the director, but who isn't a big fan of Mark Hamill, right, at the end of the day? I mean, anybody saying, well, I'm a big fan of Mark Hamill, well, yeah, so am I, so are you, so is everybody. So that in and of itself doesn't make me... I believe that maybe Mark Hamill was on a list of people they could get. But let's not kid ourselves. It was a brilliant marketing move, because they were already behind the 8 ball, and Chucky's voice was an area of contention for a lot of people. It's not Brad Dourif. Brad Dourif as the voice of Chucky is very much like Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger for a lot of people. Nobody else can do it. No one will ever, it's impossible. I mean, I don't agree with those people, quite frankly, because we've been proven over and over again that that's not the case. But there are people that are emotionally attached and no one will ever, and blah, 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 blah. And so I believe it was more about marketing, because they knew that if they cast somebody who was beloved by the world of fandom, who was also talented, that it would help to get asses in the seats. Oh, well, I mean, I wasn't crazy on it, but Mark Hamill's doing the voice? Okay. You know what I'm saying? And then, of course, there was the worry that people were going to sort of hear a little too much of the Joker. Because Mark Hamill, although he's done a lot of voice work, he is primarily known as the Joker. Okay, right. That is what he's known as. And whenever Mark Hamill does a sinister type of voice, or somewhere in the sinister voice, the sinister character, you can hear a little bit of that Joker coming out a little bit. There was
like a scene or two that I heard that, and there was a laugh, and I'm like, Joker.
Now that's okay. But I have a feeling that after watching it, and I said this at the very beginning, I said that that there are that I have to see Chucky moving through the space. I have to hear what Chucky sounds like, right? I got to hear the voice within context of sort of how it's all sort of coming together before I can make a final decision in terms of what I think of it, right? I don't know if Mark Hamill was the right guy for the job.
Ooh,
he did a good job with what he did. That I'm not saying that he didn't do a good job. He did a fine job. But he's almost too recognizable. And I think that perhaps somebody who's not as recognizable as of a voice might have done the character of Chucky. You might have been able to get lost in the character of Chucky a bit more. I mean, what Mark Hamill did was great. I'm not critiquing his performance. He was great. But he sounds identical to Mark Hamill.
Or the
it's
Joker.
Nothing but, well, not just the Joker, but it's nothing but Mark Hamill, right? So, and that's, I'm not, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying Mark Hamill did a bad job as Chucky. That's not what I'm saying. So if the chat room thinks I'm saying that, that's not what I'm saying. He did a fine job. He was fine. But it sounds like Mark Hamill. So, whereas when Brad Dourif was Chucky in the very first Child's Play of 1988, he wasn't a household name. Okay. And you can hear, like, now he's synonymous with Chucky. So I wonder if getting somebody else who wasn't a name, wasn't known, what that would have been like. Talented, very talented. I can think of several people that it would have been interesting to see sort of maybe what it would have been like. Because
my concern with that only is because I'll tell you why. There were moments in the original Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm sorry, the remake of Nightmare on Elm Street, where I thought, who was the guy that played Freddy again? I forget his name. The Academy Award-winning actor.
Jackie Earle Haley.
Right. I thought there were moments I was like, he's trying too much there to be like Robert Englund. My fear would have been had they had someone someone else cast to play Chucky, that they might have tried to go the Brad Dourif route and try to maybe sound a little bit closer to that. And the bottom line is, if you don't have that type of voice, you shouldn't even bother trying.
No.
Whereas Mark Hamill didn't try that. He made it his own. And I do like that. And so that's my only concern. Had they did cast someone else, they might have tried too much maybe at times to go the Dourif route.
Well, I think what would end up happening is I agree with what you're saying. And what it is that expand on my thought was, I agree with what you're saying, and I would add to that I certainly don't want the person to sound like Brad Dourif. That's not what I want. You still make it your own, but it's a less recognizable voice.
True.
It's a less recognizable natural voice, right? Where you hear it just sounds like Mark Hamill. Now, it sounds like Mark Hamill going, hey, what's going on? It sounds like he's not just being Mark Hamill. He is performing a character on a certain level, but it still sounds like Mark Hamill. And I wonder if a less recognizable voice putting their own stamp on it, I would be curious to know what that would have been like. And that has nothing to do with what Mark Hamill did wasn't good. I'm not saying that get him out of there because what he did wasn't good. That's not what I'm saying. I thought he was great. I thought he was fine. I thought he was creepy and eerie, and there were moments of subtlety that was really nice nuance in his performance, and the way he would go up on certain words and sort of emphasize on some dramatic pauses, and it was very nice. And I thought he did a great job. But it sounded like Mark Hamill. So I just throw that out there. I wonder if maybe a less recognizable natural voice. You hear Mark Hamill's voice, you know it instantly. because he's so present. He's so accessible to the pop culture. He talks like he's, he's like me, he can talk, right? And he's on there and he's telling stories and he's at conventions and we know his voice so well that it just sounded like Mark Hamill. He did a great job, but I maybe if we could have got lost into more of a character, that might have been a bit better. But I don't know. I mean, we'll see. We'll see if they continue on.
How did you like Aubrey Plaza as the single mom of a 13-year-old?
Yeah. She was fine. Yeah. I didn't think there was anything.
There was a few moments I thought she went a little bit. She's Park and Recs, right? That's her. I
think so.
I think that's her TV.
I'm not.
Someone correct me in the chat because I've seen parts of her TV show on YouTube. I've never actually watched it, but I'm pretty positive it's Parks and Recs. Right. I could be wrong, but anyways, I thought that there were moments that she brought that dry, sarcastic humor into the movie that I was like, nope, it's not working. You know what I mean? Like, it's not meant for this role for you as the single mom and whatnot. Like, I get that's part of her shtick, and I get that that's what she does, and I get that that's really what she's known for with the eye rolling thing and whatnot on the TV show and some other stuff. But I felt like in this movie, she went there not many times, but there's just a couple moments. I'm like,
sure,
no, it's not really needed.
Do you ever? And this is not. This is going to sound so bad. And I don't mean this in a bad way at all. But she's very attractive.
Oh, yeah.
And it's almost distracting attractive.
Oh, yeah.
So, and I don't mean that in a... Look, there are moms that have kids that are very attractive. I don't mean that. But there's something about casting someone who's exceptionally attractive in the mom role that is... There's something... Yeah, there's something a little like, it just feels like do you know what I'm saying?
Catherine Hicks played the original mom in the 88 one, right?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, I think that's her name. Anyway, so my point is, you look at Aubrey Plaza, we want to bang her. I look at Catherine Hicks, I'm like, that's mom, man. I want her to take care of me and cook me dinner.
Yeah, and look, it's 31 years later.
Not that Catherine Hicks isn't attractive. No. There's a difference.
Yeah, and it's 31 years later. It's very different. There's different hairstyles and different, wardrobe. But when I look at Aubrey Plaza, is that her name?
Yeah. Not Audrey, Aubrey.
Aubrey, thank you. Aubrey Plaza. I just see like, I don't know. How old is she?
Younger than us by like close to 10 years. She's got to be in her early 30s.
Let me just see here. Aubrey.
We've got to have her beat by at least 10, close to 10 years.
She's 34.
Oh, okay. 6 years.
Okay. So she could have a kid that age. Okay. Yeah, there's nothing.
I don't think she's ever played a mom though either. I think that could be also the fact
it could also be her. I think what it is too is that it could also be just the character. I just don't see. It's not that I don't see a mom. I see. I got to think of the words, and I don't mean in a bad way. I just mean that it's there's a believability factor that I need to see. She looks like she's, I don't know if it's just her style, the way she is. She looks like, she just needs a happy pill. She needs to wake up and smile every now and then or something. She just seems a little sort of...
I think what her disadvantage is that she's not a mom. So I think it's very hard for her to act like a mom. Because there's just motherly things that I think most women would agree. There's motherly things that how they are with their children that I wasn't buying it with her.
Right.
You know what I mean? I felt like her and Andy were almost like brother and sisters at times. You know what I mean?
It's like she lacked warmth.
Where Catherine Hicks didn't.
Right. There was a certain warmth that I didn't. It was sort of a cold. I don't mean she was being mean to her kid. I don't mean that. I mean she came up to her kid, at the store too when he was being bullied or whatever, or trying to get his friends to all that shit. And she was fine, but there was a certain warmth there, a motherly glow that she didn't quite have. So she just and I think because of that, all I see is just an attractive woman.
That's it. Yeah.
And so I have a hard time seeing a mother who happens to be attractive. I just see it looks like she was babysitting her younger brother.
Yeah.
That's the chemistry and the vibe that sort of it played off to me. Even though I know they were mother and son, I could if you had told me that Aubrey Plaza was playing this kid's older sister, and it's entirely possible because I have a sister who's 15 years older than me. Okay, and when I was 13, my older sister was what? Like 28, 9, bit younger than Aubrey, but you could buy that. So that's sort of, it was a motherly warmth and sort of glow that
because
and I don't mean stereotype. I don't mean overdoing it, overcompensating. There was just something, I don't know. I'm not familiar with Aubrey, so I don't watch Parks and Rec or whatever the fuck she's in. I maybe I've seen a movie she's been in, but I haven't seen her in too many things. So to be fair, I'm not familiar with her filmography and her work. And in this movie, she was fine. There was nothing negative about her. I just was like, oh, okay, this is the mom. And there was just, it could have been a babysitter. It could have been an older sister.
Well, it's like the difference is if you were to have had, say, Jessica Biel play this part as the mom. Jessica Biel is a mom in real life. I believe her and Justin Timberlake have had one, if not two kids, I believe. They're either on their first or they're about to have their second, or they've had their second, whatever. But they are parents. I know that. So Jessica Biel is a mom. She, as an actress, would bring that motherly instinct to the table because she has a kid. You know what I mean? She knows how to have that interaction, that engagement, that protection of your child. Her and Andy just moved into this new apartment, and like I'm sitting here thinking to myself, what mother in her right mind is going to tell her kid at night, go out and play. There's a whole world out there. Like, that's something your sister would tell you. A mother would not be telling his kid to go outside and play at night in the city, especially. You live in the city.
Right.
Nowadays, especially. I was like, wait a second. No mother would, would say that, but a mom would not say that.
Especially in Chicago.
That too, right?
Which I believe is the highest murder rate in the U.S.
It is.
So
so that scene right there, I was like, wait, what? Like, there's no way a mother would tell their kid to go out and play at night in the streets.
Yeah. No, it's true, and it's just I think Aubrey Plaza just was a very one note for me. I needed to see, I mean, she did well at the end of the movie when she's hanging by her, and all that stuff. But I just mean in terms of the relationship with her kid, but then again, maybe, when I think about it, she's dating a fucking idiot. And, she struck me as a mom that would be that kind of a mom. And now maybe that was intentional, but I don't know. It just struck me as just a real low-life mom. Like, you're a fucking idiot. Like, you're dating a douchebag. I don't care how attractive you are. You're dating a douchebag. Anyway, we've talked a lot about this, but so the relationship there was just a little bit, it was okay, but certainly a more warmth, I think, would have been interesting. But what else? The voice, again, I thought what Mark Hamill did was solid, was really good. I just wonder if maybe a less recognizable voice might have been just a little bit better. That's just an afterthought. Now, having seen the film, I wonder maybe if that actually would have helped it a bit, because Mark's voice is so recognizable. It would be like Tom Hanks being the voice of Chucky. You know what I mean? It's like, God, like you just, you hear Chucky, or sorry, you hear Tom Hanks. So that's a thought. I thought Chucky looked fine. Took a bit to get used to, but he didn't look quite as cute and as innocent as the original good guy doll did, which I think
he already looked creepy to begin with.
Exactly. Which but I mean, I do love the red eyes. That I love. That has always been an aspect. I love when he gets really angry or aggressive, the eyes glow red. That's something that you didn't have in the original.
The red eyes remind me of when you're behind a car and it's got its brakes on. That's what it reminds me of. Reminds me of car brakes with the right. If you look at the right lights, and I just happened to be behind someone the day I saw the movie when I was leaving, and they had like very similar shape backlights, and I was like, that's what the eyes remind me of. They remind me of parking lights.
Right. Yeah. I mean, obviously red is the color of evil. It's evil, a warning, caution. Well, caution's orange, I guess, or whatever, yellow. But I like the red. And when Chucky, it almost feels like the Child's Play movie, this new incarnation, was growing, and then it plateaued, and it never got better, and it never got worse. It just kind of sat there.
Right.
And so that's why you sort of left going, it was all right. It was all right. Because you kind of know what to expect, right? I mean, very predictable, very formulaic, but that wasn't an issue. I mean, this is a remake of they're going to change some things, but we kind of know how this story goes, essentially. But that's kind of how it felt. It kind of went like this, then it plateaued there, and it's not like there was a point where I was like, oh, fuck. And there wasn't a point where I was like, oh, interesting. It just kind of stayed there, and I left the theater thinking, all right, that was okay. Like, I enjoyed that. I mean, I thought it was fine. And that to me is what at the very least it needed to be, because we knew it wasn't going to be as good as the original. We knew it wasn't going to knock the fuck out of the entire box office. First of all, it's going up against a juggernaut like Toy Story. And the chances of the Child's Play remake, everybody coming out going, holy fuck. I don't know who the hell went into the theater thinking that. I'm going in, it's going to be fucking, what the fuck? Just go in. My expectations were low. My expectations were met. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'd watch it again. I wouldn't go to the theater to watch it again, but when it winds up on Netflix or wherever, I'll watch it on a Sunday afternoon. Sure.
And I think it's got a lot of things. I think the timing of its release is bad, because I think it's doing so at the box office. It's not doing great.
No. It didn't. It made, I think, 60. Yeah.
Toy Story, I know, is killing it. And the problem now that Child's Play is going to have is you've got Annabelle coming out on Tuesday, and Annabelle's just getting fucking positive reviews left and right from critics and from people who have seen it. I can't wait to see this thing in a couple of days. Like, it's the best Annabelle that this is what I pretty much felt all along, that this is the Annabelle movie we should have gotten, the one and only. And now with that coming out, like, Child's Play is just going to lose. I mean, it's going to lose everything, because now if you're talking counter programming, you got Toy Story, you're going to have Annabelle. And those are the two movies that people are going to go see mixed in with everything else. And that's unfortunate. I think Child's Play really should have done an October release, late October, and it would have been fine.
Yeah. I mean, look, no one knows what's going to happen. Sure. At the end of the day. And the studios base their marketing and release dates based on a number of factors, and it all comes down to probability. And they took a risk of releasing it the weekend of June 21st because of Toy Story. That's a specific, deliberate, calculated risk because of the counter programming. Yeah. And maybe it would have worked. Look, MGM knew, Orion knew, that Child's Play is not going to make $50 million opening weekend going up against Toy Story 4. It's not going to happen. Okay? But if they had squeezed out $25 million, maybe, I think they would have been thrilled. Right? And because it only cost $10 million to make, so you have to factor in double its budget for marketing. That's the general rule of thumb, folks, is double the budget. Sometimes you got to triple the budget depending on the movie, but general rule of thumb is double your budget for marketing costs. So if it costs $10 million to make, then you double that to $20 million, and then that's where you're breaking even. So I believe it made about $16-17 million this weekend, so it hasn't quite broken even yet. It will break even, but it's not going to be a huge box office success. When it's all said and done, it might have racked in between $30-40 million. But
today, that's bad.
Well, I wouldn't say it's bad. It made its money back. It broke even and made some money. But it's just another example of, this. Yeah, I mean, it's not bad, but it's certainly, I think they were probably hoping this would have been double that. I don't know if Orion was hoping for $100 million. I think that's a big.
I think
they were hoping for
75, 80. That's what I was just about to say.
Yeah, I think they would hope at the end of its run, maybe it would have made 80, and maybe it will have. Maybe it'll squeeze it out somewhere. I don't know. Maybe now that everybody's seen Toy Story 4, next weekend they'll be looking at Child's Play. Who knows, right? But I agree that but it's they take risks, and they took that risk, and they thought that it was the marketing for this movie has been brilliant.
One of the best marketings that I've seen in a while.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's just unfortunate with it's like that's the gamble they took. Like you said, they gambled. They thought that's a risk to go up against a juggernaut like Toy Story, and with Annabelle pretty much coming up on the coattails this week. Now, I don't expect Annabelle to do great like Tuesday to Thursday, but by the weekend, that's when I think the numbers that are going to come in for Annabelle. When the weekend rolls around,
and Annabelle actually might help Child's Play next weekend
a little bit.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Yeah. Because they're two doll films, you see.
Right. Exactly.
And I'm not statistically and traditionally, movies make less and less each week. That's just the way it goes. Yeah. But the drop off next week might not be. I mean, Jesus, the drop off next week could be 70% for Child's Play, which is just insane. But maybe it won't be. Maybe Annabelle will help save it. Like some people might go to the theater and go, "Oh shit, Annabelle's sold out." Whatever. Hey, you want to go see Child's Play? It's yeah, sure, because it's the same sort of arena, right? And they're completely different. I mean, Annabelle is probably, it's not quite as spoofy, let's say, as Child's Play, but it might help it out a little bit. But yeah, overall, I like Child's Play. I'd give it a solid 6.5 out of 10. I thought it was fine. I enjoyed it. I thought it was, I got what I expected. And it had a very 80s. There were some of the cinematography was nice, and the utilization of light and shadow, and there was some nice cool moments, but it never it plateaued, and it just became, it's just this is the movie, it's here. It never went up from there, and they almost played it safe, almost, right? It almost kind of got to a point where they're like, well, okay, we're here. It's like those game shows, Deal or No Deal or whatever it is, where you're like, no, I'm gonna stay. I'm not gonna go any further, right? Like like those game shows where you take a guess, a guess, and if you want, and then you're like, no, I'm gonna stay. It's almost like that's what Child's Play did. It's like, okay, we got $10,000, okay, we got it, but do you want to go for $50,000? And the audience is like, go, and they're like, no, I'm staying, and that's sort of kind of what it is, and you walk away with $10,000, and it's like, all right, well, that was all right, that was pretty good. But could you have gotten a little more out of it if you had added this, done this, and maybe tweaked that a bit? Just that little bit where everyone's like, oh, okay, this, and you take it from good to really good, or from okay, depending on who you are. For me, it would be like from good to really good, or if you're somebody that didn't like the film. Sorry?
No, I was gonna say, I think a lot of it is like they rushed a lot of arcs. Here's a good example on an arc that they rush. Andy meets the cop. They kind of like have a little exchange in the hallway there. Nothing happens. And then we go from that to now Andy's sitting in their house having dinner. Like, we didn't really see a relationship develop between him and this cop. Sure. How did we get from them just meeting in the hallway to now Andy's coming over and hanging out for dinner and all that stuff like that? We didn't really see that relationship build up between these two.
It's a good point. No, it's a very fast-paced film. And like I said, maybe that's part of the things that I'm talking about. Maybe a little bit more exposition, maybe a little bit more sort of development with the characters. I think there probably were certain things they could have done for me to bring it from good to really good. For maybe those in the chat room that didn't like it at all, maybe they could have brought it from, I don't really care about it, to it was okay. Or maybe if you thought it was okay, they could have brought it from okay to pretty good. I think there might have been some things they could have done, but it felt like they thought, let's get out while we know we have something that's acceptable. And maybe that's the best way to do it, to give you the potential of maybe a sequel. Now, could they make a sequel from this? Yes. Would I be interested in seeing a sequel from this? At the end of the day, I couldn't care less if they did, but I would be curious to see where they go and how they progress Chucky, because Chucky right now he's not a possessed doll, so the behavior's not already there. The evil's not already there. Chucky, the doll we know, has been killed, right? Smashed to pieces in this new film.
Burned in the thing. Yeah.
Right, but they alluded to the fact that maybe there was another doll. Now, I guarantee you that they probably have no fucking idea what that even is. The filmmakers and the writers might have an idea, but they're probably like, let's just have the eyes glow red, and if we get greenlit for a sequel, we'll figure out what that means. And then maybe it's the guy that died in Vietnam. Maybe he actually did 2 dolls that were like, I don't know. Sure. But then you got to think, what are the odds that this doll gets back to Andy?
And named itself Chucky.
I don't know. I don't know how they would justify all that. But definitely if you were to do a sequel, because this is artificial intelligence that's learned behavior, not possessed behavior, not already there, you're going to have to take it up a notch. And are we going to have to relearn all these things again? Right? Think about that. If this is a new doll that's never been in the hands of a human before, well, he's not going to already be evil, learned behavior. He would have to learn those behaviors again, unless maybe they go with my idea, like I said at the beginning of the stream, that maybe there's an evil chip in him or something. I don't know. There's so many different things you could talk about, but overall, I thought it was all right. I enjoyed myself. I didn't take it too seriously, and I thought it was okay. It just sort of plateaued and stayed there. I don't know. How do you feel about it at the end of the day overall, Tony?
I mean, at the end of the day, I went out and I saw a slasher film and I had fun with it. I didn't take it too serious because, you're never supposed to take a Child's Play movie seriously. I think it had a couple things going against it and why it didn't do Halloween-like numbers from Halloween 2018. With Halloween 2018.
Oh, it was never going to do Halloween numbers. Jesus.
No, I know that. But what helped Halloween 2018's numbers at the box office was the fact that you had Jamie Lee Curtis, you had John Carpenter's name attached to it, you had Nick Castle even coming in if it was only for one scene. So you had a lot of those elements that brought a lot of old Halloween fans back to go see this film.
And it was released on October 19th.
Exactly. And you had the new fans coming in. You had nothing from the original Child's Play. You didn't have Brad's voice. You didn't, so you there was nothing that
the nostalgia hook was not there.
Because they were trying to go new. So I think you had a lot of heart. I know. There's my barista at Starbucks, great friend of mine. She's a highly intelligent movie buff, and Child's Play is her favorite slasher film series, whatever. She didn't go see it. She has no desire to see it because there's nothing there that's bringing her to go, because it's not Brad's voice. It's not connected to the canon, of what people already know of Child's Play. So it just was like, whatever. It just is what it is. I'll see it one day when it's on TV. And I think that's also hurting this. And I agree. It never would have done Halloween-like numbers, but still, to say at the end of the day 70, 80, I don't think that's an unrealistic expectation. The problem to try to get that is you're trying to convince a whole new audience, like, hey, this is all new, and hopefully Mark Hamill's name can bring people in, and it's
that's exactly why they cast him. I mean, look, Mark Hamill is talented, of course he is, but there's nothing like, he's not the only guy that could have done justice to Chucky. There are a plethora of talented voice actors out there that's all they do, that could have done justice to Chucky. And that's why, but what I thought Mark Hamill did was brilliant. I thought it was great, but I think maybe he might have been a little too recognizable. And I agree with what you're saying, though, that this Child's Play did not have the nostalgia hook. It wasn't a sequel. It wasn't, we're pretending the other 5 didn't happen and we're doing a direct. They didn't have
totally
that.
New.
If they had brought back Catherine Hicks, if they had brought back the original actor that played Andy, if they had brought back,
now
Brad
you're talking something
Chucky,
that could have happened.
I'm just saying, and let's pretend that 3, 4, 5, 6, 3 seed bride cult curse never happened, and this is essentially like a new Child's Play 3.
Right.
Well, yeah, then you have the nostalgia bone, right? And you would have, depending on where it's
not a bad idea. I don't know what Catherine Hicks is up to these days, but
who knows?
It's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Get the band back together. It works for Halloween.
It might have been interesting. Would it have made $255 million worldwide? I don't know.
Maybe Chucky, close to 100 worldwide. Close
perhaps,
to that 100 mark.
Well,
yeah.
and I think that's what they were sort of hoping with this film anyway. I don't think this film was going to make 80. in domestic, which is North America, Canada, and the US. But I think if it pulled in, 50 million here and 30 million overseas, I think that's probably what they were hoping. I don't think it's going to come close to that, because I think even in the UK it made like 6 million this weekend or something. So worldwide right now, I think it's at like 22 or 23. So if you consider, well, that's where you start, and then traditionally you go down from there each weekend. And it's only going to, I mean, the box office competition is only going to get ridiculous. It might end up with maybe 35 million at the end of its run. So definitely not a total disaster. It did, because you got to look at budget, and you factor in that maybe 10, it cost 10 to make, another 10 for marketing. Maybe a little bit more. At the very least, I think the movie will probably break even.
Sure.
But yeah, it's probably not going to be the success they were hoping for, which could cause, it could sort of run the sequel into the ground.
Now, on the Dave McRae grading system, what would you give this movie as far as your grading?
Oh, I said earlier, I'd probably give it about a 6.5.
Or your ABCs?
Oh, I'd probably give it, well, see, like I gave Halloween 2018 a C+.
Uh-oh, here we go, folks.
I did.
Here we go, folks. I have a feeling there's going to be a disturbance in the force.
No, well, I gave Halloween 2018 a C+, but that is a much harder C+. Okay? And
yep.
it's a much heavier C+, because of everything that was at stake. I would probably give Child's Play 2019 a C+ as well. But
really?
it's a lighter C+.
Yep.
It's a happier C+.
Yes.
Because of the tone of the movie, the expectations of the film, everything that's involved with the movie. I walk out going, it's a happier C+. It's a nicer C+. Whereas the 2018 Halloween film is a more disappointing, it's a heavier C+. Because I think that movie, 2018, the Halloween film, because it was full of missed opportunities, because it was a sequel now, and you've heard me say, I think it works fine as a modern day horror film, but it fails on many aspects of it being a Halloween film. So it's a harder C+. You get that test back and you're like, shit, C+. You get the Child's Play test back and, oh shit, I got a C+. So that's sort of how
it's an unexpected C+, because I think most of us were probably going in there thinking we'll probably give this thing a D at best. But no, I agree with you, because I would put it in the B- range, which is right there.
Right. And if I watch it again, I might, depending on how I feel, or if I think about it a bit, because I saw it today. So if I see it again, or if I think about it more, I might be like, no, you know what? I might give that a B- too. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that's where I am, but it's lighter. It's a lighter sort of grading than anything I would grade something like Halloween or even Elm Street. Like that I take much more sort of, there's a lot riding on that. So that's how
it totally makes sense what you're saying, because I'm the same way when it comes to Halloween and Nightmare and even Friday the 13th. I'm going to come at it a lot harder, because those are, same thing with Scream. Those are my four bread and butters.
Right.
When it comes to like movies like Chainsaw Massacre or Child's Play, I've always just enjoyed them. I've never taken them seriously. That's why I said earlier in the stream tonight, I was happy that they put the little wink and nod of Chainsaw 2 in this film. I thought that was a nice touch, and because that's a movie that really gets overlooked. Well, I get what you're saying with that lighter, when I left Halloween, I left, like you said, I left disappointed. I didn't leave like when I left Child's Play, I left going, hey, this wasn't bad. I had fun. Good time.
Right.
And that's how I felt when I walked out of there. With Halloween, it was a lot different, because like you said, there's a deep-rooted attachment when it comes to Halloween. You and I don't have that same. I'll rock the Chucky sweater, and I'll watch the movie, especially the first two. I'll watch those two.
And this is the closest thing I could get to anything
Chucky related, right?
Because look, it almost looks like the good guy sort of bit. And what I have here is, it says, caring for your demon cat.
Yeah, so that's my point. Like, we don't take this franchise. So, perfect example. I know Cody Leach. He's a big Child's Play fan.
He is a very big Child's Play fan. And he did a great review on the film.
He did, and I watched it, and like that to me, that like Child's Play to him is like Halloween to us. You know what I mean? Right. Like he's really deep with that.
But here's the thing, though. Yeah, and everything you've said is bang on, and I agree with it 100%. I just also want to add too, for context and clarification, is that when it comes to the Halloween film 2018, I was harder on it, not just because it was Halloween, but because you're telling me it's a direct sequel to the original film. Right. So therefore, when you tell me that, there are certain things, and they're not, I mean, they're expectations, but they're not fanboy expectations. They're certain things that you expect to see because it's continuity expectations, right? It's certain things that should be carried over into a film. Not saying that the filmmakers they don't make it their own. Of course you do, but there's certain things that you need to carry over because you're telling me that this is the same universe, right? So there's certain things that I was looking for and expecting and wanting to see from this and that, to some degree, in terms of exposition, in terms of cinematography, in terms of continuity and story, that I just did not get. So it becomes harder. If this Child's Play movie was the sequel that we were just talking about, they pretended that Bride, Seed, all
that didn't
exist, and this was a new Child's Play 3, then naturally it would be, and I gave it a C+. It would
elevate the expectation.
Yes, because there's certain things in terms of continuity, story, exposition, all this stuff that and it's not fanboy. It's not like, I want something from a story like I want you to take it this way. No, you take it however way you want to do it. But there's certain things that should be there because you're telling me it's related to this thing. Yep. So I expect to see that. And if I don't see that, then it rubs me the wrong way. And there's certain things and that doesn't mean, you go off and you got to make a complete remake. You add your own stamp to it. But I would have been a lot harder with this new Child's Play. It was a complete reimagining. So I sort of put the other Child's Play doesn't exist. Yeah. So I just went in and based it on its own merits. And that's why the C+ for Child's Play 2019 is a lighter C+ than my C+ for Halloween 2018.
Is it something that you think you're going to add to your DVD collection? I'm on the fence. Because I don't collect DVDs. I do digital now.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to add it or not. I'm on the fence.
I do still collect physical media. Probably. I mean, not when it first comes out. Because when it first comes out, if you go up to...
No, I get you. Yep.
Yeah, it's like, $24.99 or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna buy that.
I'm gonna be 30 because they're gonna need makeup for
or 30 steel cases and all that
right,
shit. No,
special
but
shit
if I'm happen to be at Best Buy or whatever, and I see it in a $5 bin or a $10 bin, I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? And that's again, it's not. I don't think it's a bad movie. I really don't. I think if you are comparing it to the original series and film, well,
you're falling short. No, because I did the same thing with Halloween 2018. Apple had a sale not too long ago for $7.99. I was like, okay, I bought it for $7.99. I was not going to buy the 2018 Halloween at full $19.99 price. I wasn't. No freaking way. But when it's $7.99, yeah, why not? That's probably when the new Child's Play comes out. Same thing when it gets to into that $4.99 $5 bin, and
right.
Because Apple does that for their iTunes movies, then they change it up every week. Just like you would go to the store, same thing. When it gets to that point, that's probably when I would add it. I'm not going to give it $20 because I don't even have any desire to go back and see it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I don't either. It's not a movie that I would go and I have a card that up here in Canada we have something called a scene card. I actually used to be the voice of Scene for about 4 years.
Scene like movie scene or scene like CEN?
No, SCENE.
Okay.
And it's I used to be the voice of Scene actually for about 4 years. And so every time you go to the movie theater, there's the pre-show, right? Where you watch ads and things like that. And they would advertise your Scene card and all that kind of stuff. And I used to do all the ads for it for all the theaters across Canada. And then, of course, a new creative team came on board and they wanted to go sort of in a different direction. And so that I think they went with a female voice for a bit and then they went back to something else. Anyway, nature of the business, folks. But But on my scene card, I had a bunch of free films because every time you go to the movie theater, you can use that towards, you collect points. And if you get a certain amount of points, you get a free movie, and you can get like 10% off concessions and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, it's like a rewards card, essentially. And so I had a free movie, and I went and watched it with that. And it's not something that I feel compelled to go back to the movie theater and watch. Not because it's a bad movie, but just because it's fine. I mean, it just was... It's what I expected. I said, you watch my past Chucky shit, and I was like, if I can leave the theater going, that was all right. I enjoyed that. Then it's a win. And for me, I left the theater going, that was all right. I enjoyed that. My only gripe is I wish that maybe I felt they could have gone a little more edgy. I mean, look, the kills were gory, and there was a lot of blood, sure. But I think maybe adding a bit of an edge to it, some sort of component that just add a bit of an edge to it to make it a little more sinister.
Honestly, I think what would have done it is if one of the kids got it. If he had gotten one of the kids. I thought that because when Halloween, I will say I give Halloween and it did the same thing. It did not shy away from Georgie's death this time around. I mean, you saw that arm go, and you saw him get dragged under there. Same
the
thing
only
with
thing
Halloween.
I didn't like about that is that it was a CG arm, and the whole CG. I was like,
but the fact that they're visually showing that takes a lot of balls to do that. And then the same thing with Halloween, the 2018 film. I thought that was very ballsy to snap that kid's neck and to show that, because you typically don't see that with kids getting killed in horror movies, young kids. Yeah. So I thought that
same with the end of the summer of '84.
Yes, exactly. I thought that's where this Chucky was lacking. Like maybe the I don't remember the African American kid's name in the movie. Do you?
No.
If they like the kid who teaches him how, like, this is for Tupac, like the Tupac.
Right, and then he reverses it on him, like this is for Tupac.
That's what I'm saying. Like I thought, like that would have been cool if
cool.
Chucky would have reversed it and done it on him.
Well, I just think it needed, like, we empathize with Chucky, which is kind of a cute little angle. They really do get you to sort of, oh, poor Chucky, right? But most of the people he's killing are people you just don't give a fuck about anyway. So there isn't that stake. I mean, you care about Andy and you care about his mom, sure. But even the cop, I mean, I wouldn't say I wanted the cop to die, but I can't say that if he died, I would have cared. There wasn't really, I didn't really feel anything there. So, and his friends, it's almost like they wanted to implement a Stranger Things Goonies vibe.
Yeah.
But they didn't. Like, his friends would show up periodically, but there was never a moment where I felt like it was, which might be actually good in some ways, because maybe if they had actually gone full on, it would have felt a little too much like they were going that route. But I didn't feel much for his friend. I think you're right. I think maybe if one of the friends had gotten it, or show the real sinister side of Chucky, because if he's killing people that we just don't care about, he's killing the expendable people. The janitor, the fat slob of a janitor who steps on and then the guy, the boyfriend who's married with kids. It's like, what if that Christmas light thing, what if that was one of the kids, right? The kids goes outside to take down the Christmas lights. It's one of Andy's friends, and he gets it because he was making fun of Chucky because he thought the doll was stupid. And then right then and there, you're like, oh shit, like this is a kid getting it. There's something a little more edgy. It's again, it seemed like it came up here like this and then sort of plateaued and played it safe, and it just was fine. It was fine.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, or they could have. I mean, the same thing again. I think had they gone the road of killing off one of the kids, you really couldn't kill off the girl because she became like the heroine of the movie. She led the charge and she was the badass. And it fit her character,
sure,
and her arc. So like, if Andy all of a sudden became the badass, like I probably wouldn't have bought into that because it wasn't fitting the arc of his story.
No,
the other kid that they hung out with there, I forget his name. That was part of their little trio there. you could have offed him, that would have been fine, because he, to me, not that he was a key character, but he would have, you would have felt like, oh fuck, man, that sucks,
Sure, yeah.
It would have been a sympathetic death, so you could have gone that road. I think that's where you would have made the movie, what you're talking about, a little edgier. I would have offed one of those two kids, whether it was, I think Omar, the African-American kid's name, and God, I can't remember the other freaking kids. I just saw this.
If this movie was rated PG-13, which would have removed a lot of the gratuitous violence, and when I mean, now you can have you can have a PG-13 film and have a lot of violence, but in terms of seeing the blood and the guts and all that kind of shit, you would remove that. I'd have no issues taking my 11-year-old, I don't have an 11-year-old, but kid to see this movie. There was a very,
true.
And I know it's deliberate, but there was a very childlike sort of, there was
less in the gore, and this could have been a kid movie to watch.
Yes, the edge wasn't really there. There were moments when it was there, but I think a little bit of an edge would have given a nice little bit of decoration to the top of this cake. Just something to accent, the rest of the film, where it's kind of like, oh, it's kind of
like when Chucky kills the mom. I was like, okay, we went there. That's a good kill. That was a kill that brought it to a little edgy. That this Chucky's okay, because what did the mom do? She didn't really do anything.
Right.
Other than the fact that Chucky saw that, the dinner, and something triggered in his head when he saw that at the dinner table that he didn't like. But the woman wasn't a bad woman. So when he kills her in the car, I was like, all right. And I thought it was well played, because you didn't have to physically show the graphics of him stabbing or whatever he does to her in there.
Absolutely.
They cut away. I thought that was well done, because then you see the cop show up and you're like, oh, man, that sucks. He got her. But that's the edge I think you're talking about, that they kind of rode that line, but they didn't go beyond it,
Right, exactly. No, everything was quite, it was fine.
It was they were going there, but they didn't want to pull the trigger. You know what I mean? It's they were so close to pulling the trigger. They were like, let's bring it back,
Right. And I tell you that I made a tweet about this earlier today, and a Facebook post on my page. That Buddy song, okay, that ends with, hang on, I'll read you my tweet. My exact tweet was, admittedly, the Buddy song from the new Child's Play is catchy as hell. I like it. But after a few listens, I picture an inebriated Mark Hamill swaying back and forth at a Lucasfilm after party, arm in arm with George Lucas. Somebody close the bar. They've had too much. And I say that I actually like the song. I think it's kind of catchy. But when the movie ends and that's what you play at the end, all I hear is Mark Hamill. And what I'm listening to is I'm picturing Mark Hamill half in the bag at some after party, just sitting there going, I'm your buddy. Sitting there. Can you not picture it? Maybe I'm fucking losing my mind.
No,
but I can picture Mark Hamill sitting there. He's had a little too much to drink, and he's sitting there with George Lucas, and he's, playing, he's singing the Buddy song. It seemed a little, when they went with that, I'm like, all I hear is Mark Hamill singing this song, and it's kind of funny. I think they should have ended and I admit, I actually think the tune is kind of catchy. There's something a little catchy about it.
Yeah.
But having said that, I think it would have been better to play the Child's Play theme at the end credits. I think now, did they? I didn't stay long enough. Did they actually?
As soon as it went to credits, I walked out.
Okay, they because obviously the Buddy song's not very long, so I would imagine that once the Buddy song ended, they probably went into the Child's Play theme, the new Child's Play theme. But
which is all right. I still like the original, but I mean it's all right.
I like is the original the one that played at the end of the first movie, The Child's Play from 1988, that real la 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 or whatever, however it goes. Whatever, I love that. I fucking love that. I think that's fantastic. But the new Child's Play theme, I think's all right. It definitely is recognizable, and that's something that you don't have a lot today in horror films,
which is good.
So
and it's its own identity. So that I did like.
It's a real theme You know, but the buddy song, I'm sorry, I picture Mark Hamill in my head. He's a little, you know, he's an older guy now. He's a little shaky, you know, and I just picture him sitting at some party singing the buddy song, you know, half in the bag. And that's what I pictured when it rolled. I was like, oh my God.
Did you like the Han Solo joke?
Yes, I did. I think you should.
Immediately when he said, I was like, I wonder what Dave's going to think.
I did, but I think he should have said Luke Skywalker, but it would have been funnier. It may have been a little too on the nose.
Yeah.
But if you're going to go Han Solo, just go fucking Luke Skywalker. Like, I mean, if you're going to take it to Han Solo, you might as well just say Luke Skywalker because you're making a Star Wars reference. Oh, ha ha. The voice of Chucky is Luke Skywalker. I get it. Wink, nudge. Did you get it? Huh? Did you get it? Yeah, I got it. But if you're going to say Han, you might as well just say Luke.
Say Luke.
I mean, because then it's like, yeah, like that's really funny then. You know what I mean?
And maybe have the dog give kind of a quirky pause for a second.
Yes,
you know, like, what?
Exactly. You know? Kind of go.
Damn, no, we should be the ones to control this movie.
That would have been funny. Little quirky pause. That would have been interesting. Anyway, should we move over to the? I mean, we could go on and on, but we'll talk more about it on future shows. I'm sure we'll get some questions here. So, all right, this is your opportunity to ask Tony and I some questions. We are moving over to the chat or the Q&A portion of the show, which usually happens around this time, and we'll see how long we'll go tonight. We'll see what the chat room is like tonight. So, this is your opportunity, folks. Fire those questions away. Take another shot here. I'm taking a shot, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the shit show.
Filmatic, favorite scene from The Thing. Also, which Carpenter score is your favorite besides Halloween? Favorite scene from The Thing.
Favorite scene from The Thing. Jeez.
I just really like the movie as a whole. I can't just narrow down. To narrow down one, it's such a good film. It's one that I watch once a year. Not necessarily in October, but I will set a night aside and just pop on The Thing and have a good movie night. But as far as score goes, I mean, I honestly, the only ones I do listen to, I mean, not that like Assault on Precinct 16, I think he did the score for that. That was
Precinct 13.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Precinct 13. That score is all right. But honestly, the only ones that I do listen to are the Halloween soundtracks. His, from 78, other than that, like Halloween 2 soundtrack is Alan Howarth, even though it's John Carpenter's score. Alan Howarth does 2. He did, I think he did 3, right? And I know he did 4 and 5.
Alan Howarth did 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Okay, so yeah, really, I only listen to that one. I know it's a lame answer, but that's really the only one. Do you listen to any of his other scores?
Yes, my favorite John Carpenter score outside of Halloween would be The Fog. I think it's a tremendous soundtrack. It's his best soundtrack besides Halloween, in my opinion. And in terms of The Thing, I don't know. I mean, there's so many good scenes. Yeah, there's so many good scenes. Super chat from Brandon Gregory. Thank you, Brandon. Says, my only real issue was the gruesome cat scenes in this Child's Play. I didn't have any issue with it. I mean, I have a cat, and obviously, I know the cat's not really being hurt. So I liked... Like that scene there was obviously to showcase that the AI portion of this new Chucky doll that he is learning this behavior. So
I really wish he snapped that cat's neck in that scene. I really wish they went there.
Yeah, it would have been interesting.
They had it. Nope, let's pull back. I'm like,
it would have been interesting. All right.
Dave and Tony, and that doesn't mean I hate cats. I have 2 cats. I love cats. But I just think that's where when me and Dave are talking about going there and not pulling it back, they should have went there with it. I get the audience would have had a hard time seeing it. But, I mean, come on, guys. It's fake. Dave and Tony, what is your favorite movie sequels?
My favorite movie sequel. Where I saw that quote. Dave and Tony, what do y'all want to see? Oh, no, that's a different one. I will get to that one actually because I just said it. So,
what is our James Golek? I'm not going to try to pronounce your last name.
What is our favorite movie sequels? Well, The Empire Strikes Back
is good. Godfather 2 is great.
I think Jaws 2 is all right.
Jaws 2. So Halloween 2, solid.
Halloween 2 is solid. Jaws 2 is it's far again. Halloween 2 and Jaws 2 are far inferior to their predecessors, but
solid sequels.
They're solid considering what they have to live up to. Yeah. I think Elm Street 2 is very underrated.
Very underrated. Yeah. That's grown on me a lot. I've spent more time with that film over the last year.
I actually think Friday the 13th Part 2 is pretty decent.
That's my favorite in the franchise. Yeah. I love me my Amy Steele. I mean, listen, okay, before the chat room freaks out, I love the original Friday the 13th. Pamela Voorhees, all about Betsy Palmer, but Friday 2 is my favorite franchise.
Killer.
Favorite film in the Friday franchise. It's my favorite Jason. It's why I only really featured that Jason on my Instagram, the potato sack Jason. That's my favorite one. I love that one. Cool. I mean, there's a lot of great sequels. So.
Yeah, there are. Yeah.
Aaron Keller. Hey, Aaron.
Oh, wait. I just want to, because I began to read his, so I want to give it to him. James Gaxiola, I guess. Dave and Tony, what do y'all want to see out of a sequel? Tough question, but I would probably say you need to progress the AI of Chucky. He needs to become more than what we saw in this film, because and I'm curious how, because it's AI and the original doll was destroyed, well, then that means if you have a new doll, this new doll would have to learn all that behavior again, unless they can. Yes,
give the same name.
So
to the same doll.
I don't know what they're gonna do, but definitely something that would have to take it up a notch in terms of being a little more edgier and maybe even a little darker. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, go ahead, Tony.
Yeah, no, Aaron Keller. He's a great supporter of mine on Instagram. I appreciate the support you give me and the comments you give me on the photos that you like. Why are news sources calling? Dave should tell you. I gave him a marathon chat about this. Text message.
Okay, what is this?
Calling Halloween 2020 Halloween 2. Like that's why they're going into and I did. And look. I mean, Dave is right about one thing. When he privately texted me back, he said, it is the working title. And I know it's the working title, but my gut feeling is they're going to fuck this up again with this timeline shit. And Halloween is just going to be coming like who's on first routine. Like, hey, guys. And I'm repeating what I said in the text. Let's watch Halloween 2 tonight. Oh, which one do we want to watch? 1981? Or do we want to watch Halloween 2018? Because technically that's a sequel to the original.
Or do you want to watch 2009?
Or do you want to watch Rob Zombie's Halloween 2?
Right.
Or do we want to watch this new? If they do that, it will so turn this franchise into a joke. I really hope Blumhouse is just using this as a working title, and that I don't know if it's the last one they're going to do. Halloween, the last night he came home, whatever. Stupid name, but
I figured a Halloween question was going to because of my tweets last week. So. Yes, I mean, obviously I can't divulge who my source is. No. I can't do that. But I can say that I have a very reputable, very sound source that told me last week that Universal is teaming with Blumhouse for a Halloween sequel next year. And it was under an embargo. And sources, and I wanted to wait. I inconspicuously said that through text through a tweet and my Facebook page, because I wanted to sort of let my viewers in on it as inconspicuously as I could without saying too much. Because I'm not an official news source. Okay. Then of course, a couple of days later, Collider and Screen Rant or whatever, they picked. Apparently somebody told Collider this and they ran with it. So I think, well, if Collider's going to run with it, okay, then I'll just come out and say that, yes, that's what I was referring to as well. Now, Blumhouse has not confirmed this, but let me just say this. My source is pretty solid. Let me just say that.
Just read between those lines, guys.
My source is pretty solid. So, it's coming. Now,
as far as the working title, what do you think?
Oh, as far as the working title, I mean, look, it's the same thing happened 2 years ago or a year and a half ago. No, I guess it would have been 2 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah.
When at CinemaCon, when they released that, and I did a video on this. I think this is before we even knew each other. I did a video on this, and it was just the generic poster of a generic font that said Halloween, and just some. It was a stock photo.
Yeah,
a stock photo that anybody could go and purchase of just a knife and a hand. Do you guys remember that? Right? Yeah. And everybody was losing their shit. Like, oh my God, that poster sucks. Oh my God. And I was pretty new to putting my face out there. And I was a little taken back by how not everybody felt this way, but how there were enough people that were actually thinking that was the poster. And I'm thinking, what are you talking about? That's just an announcement image. It's just to say that, hey, we need something. Hey, we're going to be at CinemaCon. It's where we, announce shit. We need something. Just take that and we'll just use that and we'll have it printed and we'll just use that. And that's all it was. And I said to Deborah, don't worry. That's not going to be the poster. That's not going to be the font. That's not going to be, it's a stock photo. And I even showed you the website where you could go and purchase that stock photo. This is the same thing. Now, do I have inside knowledge that this movie is not going to be called Halloween 2? No. It could very well be called Halloween 2. But I can assure you that they're saying Halloween 2. Everybody's saying Halloween 2 to be able to define what movie it is that they're talking about in terms of relation to the movie that just came out last year. It's the second one. Oh, the second Halloween film, the sequel to this movie, right? The sequel to, and they're just using the number 2 as a placeholder. It's just, it's essentially a working sort of title and thing. Now, that doesn't mean the movie's not going to be called Halloween 2, but I would be very surprised if it was called Halloween 2. I would imagine, I don't think it's going to be called Halloween 3. I would imagine that it will be called Halloween something. Halloween Returns. Halloween Again. I don't know. Halloween the Shape. Halloween or maybe it won't even be called that. Maybe called The Shape. But I don't think it's going to be called Halloween 2, and I don't think it'll be called Halloween 3. But we'll see what happens. Now, I don't have
Halloween 3 they could get away with, because really everyone calls Halloween 3. They call it Season of the Witch. They don't even call it Halloween 3. So there is a little room there that if they went with 3, I wouldn't be against that idea.
Right. Yeah, no, I don't have any knowledge beyond that. Okay, because the source that told me this information just said this, and I said, oh, and because I know who the person is and who they are, I was like, oh, okay. And I said, well, I'm just, do you mind if I say, yeah, but, and I was like, okay. So I tried to be as inconspicuous as I could. But I don't have any information beyond that. Now, maybe down the pipe, I'll get some more information that I'll be able to share before it's sort of, official. Cause it's still not official. Like Blumhouse and Universal have not even confirmed this yet. It's still not official. And details can change. Like when you have somebody tell you something and because of who they are, you trust them. That doesn't mean the details cannot change. I mean, that doesn't mean that all of a sudden they're not looking at a fall 2020 release. It's going to be spring 2020. I mean, things can change. But as of right now, this very second in time, that was sort of the information that
I mean, look, guys, the 2018 film, they didn't start production on that till January of 2018. So in theory, they could start this in January of 2020.
Right, exactly. So I don't have any information beyond that. And we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens down the pipe. I mean, obviously Collider, I don't know who Collider knows. So I don't pretend to have the same sources as they do. I don't pretend to know who they know because I don't. But obviously they were probably given the same information that I was. So, and it's pretty sound. So,
the only thing I want from this, because I will go see the movie. It's not like I'm not going to go see it. Stand on its own. No more winks and nod to any of the other, franchises. We don't need that. Don't pull scenes from the other franchise or have anything in there that's going to remind us from any other parts of the other, of the franchise.
Right.
Stand on your own. Be your own identity, do your own thing. And I want to go out of there. I think the one thing for certainly I'm going to do my best is, and I think what might have hurt my viewing of Halloween last year was we did a lot of videos. Even I was doing videos at the time on YouTube. I think like you, I got Halloween out. I was exhausted by the time the movie came out. When I went and saw this Child's Play, I didn't, I might have read an article. I saw a trailer, but that was it. I really kept myself at bay. Same thing with Annabelle. I've kept myself at bay with Annabelle, and I'm fucking stoked to see this movie next week. Yeah. And I think the more I keep myself at bay with movies that I'm excited and I want to see, like It and, Midsummer, which Midsummer comes out here.
Looks fantastic.
In 2 weeks. Looks great. I saw the trailer. I don't want to see more because I think when you oversaturate yourself and you start thinking about like, okay, this is what could happen. This is this, and you break it down. You become, like you said, you get burnt out on it, and that by the time you see the film, you're warped, you're tapped, and I think that played a small factor into my reaction to seeing the film last year.
Right, yeah. No, I agree. I was going to say something now, and I forget what it was. Anyways, let me just get through a couple of these here so we can.
Super chats.
Yeah, fire off. Aaron Keller, $2 super chat. Thank you, Aaron. Much appreciated. Or they can call it Halloween. Haha, yeah, just call it Halloween again. Let's see. Gara, thank you for the super chat. How do you guys feel in test screenings when the creep opens up Chucky? He screams and curses like Dorff, saying he's going to kill him, taken out after TS. I'm not quite sure what you're talking about. Are you talking about a test screening where there was a scene? How do you guys feel in test screenings when the creep opens up Chucky, he screams and curses like Dorff, says that he's going to kill him and taken out after... I'm not sure what you're saying. I really appreciate the supporting of the channel, but maybe you can rephrase that. You don't have to give another super chat. Just maybe put an @Dave McRae or something and maybe rephrase it a bit. I'm a little confused. Sorry about that, buddy.
Jimmy D, do it, Dave. Do it.
Jim D says, say my Halloween source is solid in terms of... My Halloween source is solid, okay? It's solid. It's fantastic. It's amazing.
It's not fake, okay? Right?
It's not fake. It's amazing. It's millions and millions and millions. Yeah, no, I wish I could. I wish I could divulge it, but I promise that I don't. I mean, it's nobody that works for Blumhouse. I'll tell you that. But it's you get to know people.
It's Jason Blum himself.
It's Jason Blum. I'm lying. It's fucking. It's Jamie Lee Curtis. Jamie Lee Curtis was over here. We were having coffee and we were chatting. And no, it's look.
Jason Blum stands outside McRae's house just like Chucky staring at Andy in the bedroom with the red beady eyes, going, "Dave, I got an idea for Halloween. What do you think?"
That would be frightening. No, but it's, when you get to know people after, doing certain things and connections, and through my channel and through my work as well as a voice actor. And you get to know people here and there. And sometimes it's fun.
I had a question come through this week, and I promised I would ask it on the show from Casey with an IE, so I don't screw that up. She wanted to know, who do you think was the better on-screen television couple? Archie and Edith, Carol O'Connor and Gene Stapleton from All in the Family, or Sam and Diane from Cheers, Ted Danson and Shelley Long? I was like, man, I was like, that's a good question, because there's a caveat here. I know what everybody's going to think, that I'm going to say Cheers, because when I used to make videos, and those who used to follow me on here, I always had Cheers on in the background, because Cheers is my favorite show. But when you're talking Carol O'Connor and Gene Stapleton, you're talking legends. I mean, like,
absolutely,
I take nothing away from Ted Danson and Shelley Long, and their dynamics on Cheers for 5 seasons was absolutely great. The on-off thing. But God, if you ever hear Gene Stapleton talk, this is a highly intelligent woman. Like, she sounded nothing like Edith. Yeah. And when she brings that Edith character to life, I mean, and the dynamics between her and Carol O'Connor on that show, like, they are legends for a reason. I wouldn't 100%. Necessarily say that Ted Danson and Shelley Long are legends. Yeah. They're part of a great show. Right. But Edith and Archie, I mean, you're talking 2 individuals here, like, that's on another level. What do you think? Who was the better couple?
Well, I mean, they're so different, but it was always fun to watch Edith and I mean, that was just so fun because the language was so, like, you couldn't say that now.
Oh,
no. So it was just fun. It was fun to watch. I mean, even, Family Guy, the opening of Family Guy, right? The cartoon, it's based off of that with the piano and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, yeah, no, they're absolute legends. Diane and Ted Danson's character, Sam, it's a different dynamic.
Yeah.
A lot of quips, a lot of sarcasm, but you can't go wrong with All in the Family. So
yeah, because like you can see Sam and Diane not ending up together, but you can't not have Edith and Archie not together. You need them together for it to work. Right. So good question, Casey. Thank you for that this week.
Yeah, for sure. There was he did clarify. Let me see here. Here we go. Gara at Dave McRae. When the pervert in the apartment building starts to repair Chucky in test screenings, he curses and sounds like Dorff's Chucky was taken out because of poor reception. Oh, interesting. I did not know that. I wasn't privy to that information. So, yeah, I mean, I didn't know that. That's okay. Yeah, I would have loved to have seen that and see if I feel the same way. But I didn't know about that. Cade Fisher says, do you think the new movie would be more negatively received if the original Chucky series had ended? More negatively received, I think it would have gotten. I doesn't matter. I think Chucky, I've said this from the very beginning, Child's Play 2019 has been behind the 8 ball from the very beginning. It really has, because of what it's up against and because of the emotional attachment and the beloved affection for that original Chucky's character, what Brad Dourif brought to it. So it wouldn't matter if the series had ended and wrapped up and it was 5 years later and look what happened with A Nightmare on Elm Street. I mean, for all intents and purposes, Elm Street was finished. Robert Englund was done. They remade Elm Street. Look at that. Now, that was a bad movie, but still, look at the backlash that got leading up to that, right? It's to say, I think it would have gotten the backlash no matter what. You're remaking a classic. So there's always going to be people going, yeah, you want your fucking thing. You're always going to get people like that.
Anthony Ballator, Dave and Tony, what is your favorite Italian mafia movie? Godfather. And Godfather 1 and 2.
Yeah, Godfather, Goodfellas.
Goodfellas, that's good.
Those are sort of
Donnie Brasco.
Staples.
That's kind of borderline.
I like Scarface, even though it's not quite in the same sort of.
Yeah, it's not Italian, but it's in
Italian.
Mafia,
he was what, Puerto Rican, Cuban, something like that.
Cuban.
So
Cuban refugee.
Yeah.
Say hello
to my yeah, I know.
Fuck you!
Oh, fuck you, eh?
Oh, you are?
Yeah, he's drunk in the restaurant. He's like,
fuck you, fuck all of you.
I love it. Al Pacino, he's so great. So awesome. Let's see here. Grave Warmer says, read an article on my phone that said the sequel was to start principal photography this fall, and that Jamie Lee Curtis, Danny McRae. Yeah, that was the article from Collider, and then the other sources picked it up. Now, the information that I was told did not include that information. The information that I was told a couple of days before the Collider article they didn't tell me those details. So there was a little bit more information that Collider was able to provide, if true, that even I didn't have, which was apparently Jamie Lee Curtis is coming back and David Gordon Green is coming back. Apparently. But even Blumhouse hasn't confirmed that yet. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. Maybe they will. I mean, Jamie Lee Curtis did say that I won't do a sequel unless David Gordon Green comes back and directs. Does it excite me to hear that David Gordon Green and Jamie Lee Curtis are coming back? Not particularly. I mean, I didn't love the movie, so I didn't, I actually would prefer maybe if it was somebody else that took on the directing reins. But yeah, I don't think he has any interest in doing a Halloween film. I think if he was to step behind the camera again, he'd do something small like a Halloween film, maybe a $10 million film, $5 million film, but it'd be something original, I think. But we'll see.
Michelle Lark, hey guys, what are your best action? What I'm assuming meaning like what's your favorite action movie ever, but in the 80s only. So what's our favorite action movie from the 80s? That is a great question because the 80s was just overloaded on steroids with action and overloaded on steroids with their actors. But with action movies, God, there are so many to choose from. Die Hard is a great action movie from the 80s. I'm just kind of looking over at my collection right now. Let's see. Cobra, it's a little cheesy, but Stallone's Cobra.
Oh yeah, Die Hard, Cobra, Commando, fucking Rambo. Geez, like I mean, there's so many great ones. So many great ones.
The 80s was.
I mean, it was the 80s. The 80s was the action genre, the action decade, and the horror decade. Yeah. The really slasher decade, I should say.
Yeah, it really was. There's so many. There's a lot of great ones. Great question, Michelle.
Yeah. Archie Riverdale, nothing but a super chat. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. Thanks for supporting the channel. Let's see here. Anthony Balator. Am I saying that right? Who's your guys' favorite Batman actor? I would probably say either Keaton or Bale.
Keaton's mine, and I'm very much anticipating see what Rob Patz does here.
Yes, that's going to be exciting. I'm looking forward to that. Let's see here. Colin Altman says, "Hey, Dave and Tony, do you think Orion needs to remake RoboCop?" Well, they remade RoboCop a few years ago. They shot it. Yeah, they shot it here in Toronto, and it
didn't really do well, did it?
It didn't do really well. So I don't think anybody's clamoring for a RoboCop.
No.
I think anyway.
Let's see here.
Let's scroll back here. Let's see.
Manhammer AR-15. Dave and T-Dog. Would you guys like if? Oh crap! The thing. Sorry. Hold on.
Moved. Yeah, that sometimes happens.
Oh crap! Hold on. I'm gonna get it. Sorry, dude. It's like a thing came through and I got it. Would you guys like if they stuck with the spirit doll, but added the doll being AI and Chucky having the AI ability? So basically adding the spirit along with the AI. No, I think that would have just been like oversaturated. You know, the AI thing was working.
It would be like trying to have their cake and eat it too.
Pretty much, it would have been like way too much. I think what they should have done is what me and Dave had talked about in the stream is I think the doll should have been fine or getting to Andy. I think what should have happened is that the kids fucked with it, toyed with it, messed with it, and started to get it to do things that it shouldn't be regularly doing, and it backfired on them. And then that's when Chucky went fucking nuts and started killing people.
Right. Yeah, I would be very open to that scenario. So yeah, I agree with that.
Which they could for the sequel.
Yeah, they could do that. Super chat came in from PC Pierce. Thanks, PC. You're each given $1 million. You can't give it away, invest it, or buy anything that you'll possess. What are you going to do with the money? Okay, so I can't give it away. I would never give it away. Unless, of course, I had like $100 million and $1 million was like $5 in my pocket. I can't invest it or buy anything that you'll possess. What do you do with it? Well, if I can't give it away and I can't invest it and I can't buy anything, then it'll just sit in the bank and collect interest.
Well, yeah, because like if I can't pay off my house, that would be dumb because I'd take the money and pay off my house so I didn't have a mortgage payment.
Right.
That would be first and foremost. But and that would be pretty much the big one because after that, maybe, just do like some home repairs with it. Because $1 million, you got to remember something. At the end of the day, when you get $1 million, you're only getting like $375 after taxes, and Uncle Sam rapes you from it. So you're only.
Well, that's in Canada. It's very different here. Like in the lottery here in Canada is not taxed.
Really, you lucky sons of bitches. Yeah, so, we barely. You don't even get. If you won $1 million, you don't even get half of it. You get less than half of it.
Yeah, but let's be honest. Our taxes are also incredibly high here generally.
That is true.
So, like, we have like California taxes here. Our taxes here, like to pay. Like, if I was to buy, well, I did buy this. Do you know how much the tax was on this? 13%.
That's insane for a fucking shot glass.
It's like that on everything. I mean, well, generally. Right? Yeah, 13% because, well, it depends. It depends on the province. I live in Ontario, okay? And across Canada, there's something called GST. But then there's something also called PST, which is a provincial sales tax. And it depends. It goes up and down depending on the province. But generally speaking, you're paying anywhere from like 12 to 15% tax. Yeah. So it's the least they can do that if anybody plays the lottery and they win $50 million, you get $50 million.
Wow, not here. You don't. You get less than.
No, you don't. That's very true.
Movie chat and more. The Devil's Rejects or Rob Zombie's Halloween 2? Devil's Rejects, hands down.
Yeah, probably. Probably. I haven't seen Devil's Rejects in a while, so yeah, probably.
I actually just watched that 2.5 weeks ago. I watched that in House of a Thousand Corpse because, you know, 3 from Hell's coming, you know.
It is.
It's coming. It's right around the corner.
Yeah, there. See, Sam Hain says it's 15% for me here in MTL, which is Montreal. So he's in Quebec. So yeah, it depends on the province. Like it's 13% here in Ontario, 15% in Quebec. So there you go, right? Yeah, it's crazy. So the least you can do is if I win the fucking lottery, you give it to me, all of it. All of it.
Crazy.
Of course, winning the lottery is like 1 in 900 million. But anyway, it seems like
I like the comedy of that. David King, what David King said in the next Halloween, John Tate and Jamie should dress up as Michael and kill Judy Greer and Andy Matichak. I like the comedy of that because that would be good. As a spoof. I wouldn't mind seeing that. Right.
That'd be funny. Super chat from Ethan LeBlanc. Thanks, Ethan. Much appreciated. Tony, hope all is well. Have you ever had any funny / crazy requests from clients that you didn't want to do?
I'm assuming for a photo shoot.
Yes. No, not your gigolo job. Your photography job.
Not my pimp job.
No.
Have anything that the clients asked me to do? There was one. This is a long time ago when I was living back home, and I used to do before I got into make corporate photography my thing, and that's now my substantial where all my income comes from.
Right.
I was doing senior pictures, you know, and this is when high school senior pictures, because that's big here. I don't know if it's big in Canada.
Yeah, it is.
You know, when I started getting into it, this is like early 2000s, and it was becoming where you were no longer in a studio. Kids were going out in the streets and taking cool urban photos, brick walls, and all that stuff. Well, I did a lot of my senior pictures in New York City because I lived really close there, and we would just hop on the train and, you know, go to New York and take cool pictures in the city. I have a fear of heights. I fucking hate heights. I am terrified of heights. And this one girl wanted a shot up on the Empire State Building, and I can't do it because I am like literally like I will cry, like not cry, ball cry, but like my eyes will begin to water because I will start to shake because when I am on a fucking plane, I legit need to be under some type of tranquilizer from the doctor that will get me to a state of like, I'm a chill. I'm not going to have a panic attack because I just don't do heights at all. I fucking hate heights.
Yeah.
So
cool.
What about you? Did you ever have a voiceover thing that like you were just like, no, bro, I can't do it?
I'll mention that in a second. Aaron Keller, who lives here in Ontario, says it's HST, Dave. Yes, it is HST. But the HST is the GST and the PSD combined to get the HST. So that's what it is.
Not to be confused with the PMS.
Not to be confused with the PMS. Yeah, the HST was, the GST was, I think it was 5%, and the PST was 7 or 8%. So you combine that together, and then you get a 13% HST, which is harmonized sales tax. Oh yeah, no, I know all about HST. I have to charge it. No. Let me see. What was?
Did you ever have a voiceover thing that you just couldn't like for like saying reversing it for you for voiceover?
I don't think so. I know that if it's very and I'm gonna say no. But I do know in my mind that I have sort of something that I won't do,
sure.
You know, and that would be if something came to me that was overly religious and preachy in terms of it was like a fundamental something or they wanted me to read something, whatever, I just wouldn't read that. It's just I'm not a religious person. I have no issues doing things for religious community, like a legit thing. I have to narrate something for their something or whatever. That's fine. But in terms of actually like more of a sort of a selly sort of thing, it's just not my style. So I try to stay away from that, and thankfully I've never had to do it. It's very far and few between in this business. I mean, I'm usually doing radio, TV commercials, or
it's weird. I've always been like I grew up in a Christian house, and you know I don't go to church as much as I used to, but you know I never like I don't not believe. I still believe, but it's just I have a different like I don't do the whole commercialism of church. Sure. I'm very against that the commercialized of what it is now.
Sure.
But that never like I was one of the first photographers in Atlanta. True story. When gay marriages became legal,
right.
I was one of the first photographers to photograph.
Think about that, folks.
And I'm a Christian. I grew up in a Christian.
Yeah, that's right.
Like I don't care. I don't.
I think that's awesome.
Yeah, I don't think I think like if people just want to be together and be happy, fuck it. Yeah, I'll photograph your wedding. But the heights thing, fuck no. You're gonna have to find someone else to do that shit.
No, exactly. No, I agree. I agree.
Colin Alden asked Dave and Tony, if you had an unlimited budget, what kind of horror movie would you make? If we had an
unlimited budget. Well, I can tell you that if I had an unlimited budget, I would probably make the movie that I've wanted to make for almost 20 years, which is the movie that I've been working on, which is in development for it's, you know, and it's it's a you know, so that's probably what I would do. But I would compartmentalize the money, you see, because I would, if I had unlimited, I could, well, I'll spend $5 million on that movie, and then I'll spend $2 million on that movie. If I had an unlimited budget, I know what you're saying though, for one movie, but if I had unlimited resources, I'd make a bunch of movies. But sorry.
No, seriously. Well, no, I was going to say, I noticed something on your YouTube channel here. You got the 79 website up there. I had never seen it before.
Oh,
how long has that been up?
I've had 79films.com for a while.
Oh, well, for those who might not know and are new to Dave's channel, Dave has on his profile, he's got a whole website of all his shorts that he's done. Category. That's a cool setup. I had never seen it until the other day. And I meant to say something to you. Like, I like how you got it set up with the, you know, it's like when I'm shopping on iTunes, you got, you know, nice covers for your films.
Right. Yeah.
So,
it's cool.
Guys, check it out. 79.com. I like the
79films.com.
Sorry, 79. I like that name. You need to copyright that shit, dude.
Yeah, I should copyright.
Really should. I like that. I really
it'd be fun. And it's just a little name that I came up with so I could utilize, you know, something at the beginning of my short films. I've actually been thinking about doing another short film soon, so we'll see. Aaron Keller, $2 super chat. Thank you. Dave, are you going to Fan Expo? If so, what day? Oh, if so, what day? I haven't even thought about Fan Expo. And I know Aaron is asking because Aaron lives here in the GTA, so he can make it to Fan Expo in Toronto, which is, for those of you that don't know, Fan Expo is like the Comic-Con of Canada. It actually is one of the largest Comic-Cons, if you will, in North America. It attracts close to 200,000 people over 4 or 5 days, or sorry, over 3 days, I believe. So it's large and one of the big ones. So I didn't go last year. Because I went 3 years in a row, and when you go 3 years in a row, it becomes pretty redundant. You see the same people, the same exhibits, the same, you know. So I might go this year, and it depends. I'm not sure what day, though. I usually don't go on Sundays. I'll probably go on maybe a Friday or Saturday. So we'll see. I'll let you know, though, as it gets closer to the end of August, because that's usually when it is.
David King, Dave and Tony, if you had to choose one sequel from Halloween sequel, not named Halloween 2, I'm assuming not counting the second one for 1 and 2, which one would you choose to be the one and only sequel? I'm assuming what you mean after Halloween, post-Halloween 1981 2, that would be Halloween 4.
Yeah.
Pretty much it. The first 4 films of this franchise are the only ones that I pretty much watch on a regular basis. So,
yeah, I would say Halloween 4 as well. I would with some slight adjustments, obviously, to help it, a mask and, you know, different. But yeah, I mean, it's the most organic, I think,
and it feels like a Halloween film. Yeah,
it does. Yeah, the opening's great, the atmosphere's great. I'd probably do that. It's mood and atmosphere. It's a fucking shit. I got to change that up. And then everyone's like, you changed it. I should change it to something else. It's a fucking shit show. I should change it to something else now. Keep things fresh. Let's see here. Kenny _ 525 says, hey, Dave and Tony. Oop, where'd you go? There you are. Hey, Dave and Tony, do you guys shop at Spirit Halloween?
You don't know.
No, I don't know if we have. Do we have Spirit Halloween here in Canada? Anybody, the Canadians in the chat room, let me know. I know we have Party City, and I know we have our own, like, costume shops and shit like that. There's a great costume store. They were supposed to be moving, I think. I wonder if they have yet. Anyways, they're legendary in Toronto, called the Amazing Party Store. And it's just a big fucking warehouse full of shit it's like walking into like a warehouse full of like a Spencer's or and it's just full of masks and costumes and epic, like they actually, you can totally utilize their costume department there to like do a film. Like it's insane. But anyway, I don't know if we have a Party City here. Do we have Party City here? Oh, sorry. Not Party City.
Spirit
Halloween. I don't know if we do.
all my stuff I get are custom made by artists. Whether it's masks or knives or machete. Like I will pay the extra money to get something, especially for the type of work I do for my photos. Like, to buy the stuff. Like, look, I mean, if you're just someone who's out to have fun and you don't care about, attention to details, you're not looking for screen accurate like I do for my photos or like Dave would do for his short films.
Yeah.
Then those stores are fine. I'm not dissing them. I'm not, whatever. But me personally, I'm gonna find an artist to make the proper mask that I want to use.
Right. Whatever. I am still in the market. I'm searching for a silicone Freddy Krueger Nightmare on Elm Street 2 mask.
Oh, two. That's hard.
Yeah.
You should contact
the
silicone. You should contact the silicone maker to see.
I should because I would love to be able to do a little micro
something.
shorts. Yeah, just small shit. Really small shit dressed
like
as
picking up
Freddy
from
Krueger.
where two left off.
No, I don't even mean like that. Like just do fun little like 2 or 3 minute shorts of just Freddy doing shit or just like some, you know what I mean? It'd be fun to do. It'd be a lot of fun to do. It's more manageable that way.
Hey, our buddy Chris Baber, mask or prop, what mask or prop would you like to add to your collection, Dave?
Well, we were just talking about that. I would love to add a Nightmare on Elm Street 2 or 1 or 2. I mean, 1 is great too. Freddy Krueger mask, but the silicone mask, not the latex masks. The latex masks are fine, but the they're great. But the silicone mask, all you got to do is YouTube Freddy Krueger silicone mask, and you put them on and they mold to your face, and you can do this and open the mouth wide, and it literally looks like you have Robert Englund's makeup on.
Yep, that's what I have.
They are incredibly expensive. And that's what I want. So either an Elm Street, a Freddy 1 or a Freddy 2 silicone mask, because then and they're tough to come by, which is why I don't have one right now. And then I would get the sweater and the hat because I got the glove. And then I'd probably do some small little shorts. I had this idea of me being in my car and I'm by myself, and all of a sudden I start to change and I start to turn into Freddy Krueger at night. You know what I mean? And and all of a sudden I'm in this car and I'm turning into Freddy Krueger and shit. It'd be fucking awesome.
By the way, I meant to tell you this. If you want her info, I will. Now I have the Freddy sweater post. It's more like in line with Nightmare 3. That's the sweater that I have. The mask is more in line with Nightmare 4, the silicone mask. That's what I have. Right. However, I did find a seamstress in Florida. She's currently knitting me and making me handmade the original Freddy sweater, where his arms are all red and the stripes are only in the center.
That'd be cool.
Die-hard fans who know. That was Freddy's original, and we're doing it a little bit baggier because if you look at Robert Englund in the original film, his sweater was a little bit baggy. It wasn't form-fitting.
That's right.
So I found a woman who can do it, and she's doing a really, really good job. I've seen the progress of it. And I'm like, I can't wait to shoot.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, no, I would. You can give me your information. I definitely would either want an Elm Street 1 or an Elm Street 2 sweater. I mean, if I was to obtain the Elm Street 2 mask, I would probably want the 2 sweater. If I was to get the Elm Street 1 mask, then I would get the 1 sweater. It'd be a lot of fun to do.
To answer Chris's question, though, I didn't.
Well, that's what I think. That's what he said. Like what mask or prop or whatever it was that you would want, right? Is that what he said?
The mask or prop that I would want that I need to get right now is a secondary Myers mask. This is the only one that I have, and I do use it a lot on shoots. And I realized the other day, I'm like, fuck, if something ever happens to this thing, I'm fucked. I want to get myself a backup, similar mask like this, very styled the same way, because I really love how this mask looks in the photographs. It looks fucking unbelievable. So that's the bar that I've set, and I'm in the hunt right now to find a backup
Very
one.
Cool.
In case if something
Very
happens.
cool. Very cool. Let's see here. A couple of super chats. Let's see. Ethan LeBlanc. Thank you, Ethan says, Dave, you Jewish shill. Oh, yeah. For those of you that don't know what Ethan's talking about, it's the hate mail that I sometimes get. Do you do most of your voiceover work in your own studio? When would you have to go elsewhere to do it? Keep the rack out of the coffee. You remember that? Fuck some of the messages I get. Yes, I do most of my voiceover work from here at home. I have a voiceover booth and obviously all the tech and gear set up to do that. I would say about 65% of the voiceover work I do is from home, and then about 35% of the rest is downtown Toronto at the studios downtown. I find if I'm doing like a movie trailer or a game trailer or like when I did like the trailer for It or Lego Ninjago or Inside Out or I did a trailer for Don't Breathe as well a couple years ago. Yeah. I find that stuff is done downtown. I rarely do trailers from home. I've done touch-ups where I'll record downtown and then I'll come home and they'll be like, oh, we need you to say one line. And it's like, well, instead of me, going all the way downtown, I'm set up here. I'll just do one line. I'll send them the raw file so they can compress it and mix and match it so it fits in seamlessly with the audio that was recorded down there. So yeah. And then like the network promos I do are done from here and whatnot, and my commute for the most part is from the bedroom to the basement, so that makes it a lot easier in the winter.
There you go.
So yeah, another super chat. Sorry, quickly was Dream. Sorry, Dread. It's J.R. Edmund. Edmund 77. J. Reed. Mem 77. Dave Tony, more anticipated film, Annabelle 3 or Midsummer, and why? Are you going to see both in theater? Well, for me, it'd be Midsummer because I'm not a big Annabelle fan. For Tony, I'm curious because this is a.
I know because I am looking forward to Midsummer. In fact, that was one of the trailers that played in front of Child's Play, and I was like, yes. this does look really good. I am saying Annabelle, and the reason why is simply because of the fact that this is the story that I wanted from the get-go, with Ed and Lorraine Warren in the equation, Vera and Patrick, right. Because I think that's what you needed. The other two films, and I've said this plenty of times, David F. Sandberg did a great job on Annabelle creation. It is definitely the better of the two. But from what I'm hearing and the reviews that are coming out, that this blows those two out of the water, and it's right. It should have been the movie all along, and that's what I wanted to hear, and that's what I'm excited for. So I'm probably, as a fanboy, because I like The Conjuring, I like Conjuring 2, I like Patrick and Vera as Ed and Lorraine Warren. I'm very much looking forward to Annabelle 3 a little bit more. It's a hair more. But believe me, I'm stoked for Midsummer, and I'm hoping that Annabelle 3 is so good, guys. You have to help me out here that we can convince Dave to go see it, so that me and Dave can do Annabelle 3 review. I'm hoping that it's good. If it's
we will see.
We
will see. We will see.
We're going to do Midsummer. I'm assuming we're going to do Midsummer.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
The Film Addict says, favorite movie car. My favorite is the Christine car and the 89 Batmobile. Mine's Back to the Future DeLorean. Back to the
Future DeLorean is for a movie car. But those two are good, too.
Yeah, exactly. Trey Jackson says, Dave, who the hell pays you when you're working from home? Who the hell pays me when I'm working from home?
This is my office.
What do you mean, who the hell? Well, how it works is I have two agents. I have an agent for animation, and I have an agent for radio, television, movie trailers, promos, things like that. And there are clients that are buyers, as we call them, that I have obtained over the years that can come directly to me. But often buyers will also book me through my agent. And then my agent will negotiate the price of whatever it is. Say it's a 30-second radio ad or a 30-second movie trailer or, whatever it is. And it's going to be this amount, whether it's national, international, regional, whether it's going to air for 13 weeks. No, it's going to air for 6 weeks, or it's going to air in this region. It's going to air there. It's just going to air in Canada, not in the U.S. No, it's going to air in the U.S. and in Canada. No, it's just going to air in the U.S. and it's just going to air in California. There's a lot of negotiating and a lot of different factors they have to take into play. And I have agents that handle all that. And now, if there's something that's lowballing and I don't agree with it, I can certainly turn it down. But that's what your agents are there for. And then the buyers and the clients pay my agent. My agent takes 15% of what I make, and then they send me the rest. So and I get paid through a direct deposit. And that's how it's set up to do that. So that's what. And then if I'm dealing with buyers away from my agent. They haven't booked me through my agent. They've contacted me directly through my website, or they found me through YouTube and they like my work, or, you know, whatever the case is. Then they can deal directly with me, and they will just cut me a check and send it to me. Now, if the first time I work with a buyer, it is through my agent, they found me through my agent or whatever the case is, then I will politely ask them to continue to book me through my agent so that my agent continues to reap the benefits of the 15% that they you know, originally got. So if the relationship is established through my agent, I want to honor that and keep the relationship through the agent. I think that's fair to my agents. But if it's established outside of that through me, then I can keep it through here. So that's kind of, I think, hopefully that answers your question. Anyway.
There you
go. Let's see. Hans Gruber. Oh, he's asking the same question. That's so funny. Favorite car? Mine is the 67 Corvette for the King of the Mountain 1981. Favorite movie car? Yeah, the DeLorean.
Yeah.
100%.
Oh, I will add this. Even though I'm a Camaro guy, I am truly a Camaro guy. The one exception that I will say when it comes to a Ford car would be the Shelby GT500 that Nick Cage drives in Gone in 60 Seconds. That is a fucking beautiful car.
I'm a
Ford guy, but I do like the fucking Shelby. I like the 67 Shelby GT500 that they modified. Any car person knows that is not what the original 67 GT5. It didn't have the front grille that was underneath that they added in. And there was a few other things that they added. That specific one, that was a beautiful car.
Right. I of course I'm a Challenger guy.
You are.
And yep. I own, as you own a Camaro, I own a Challenger, and I can't say I'm a car guy though, but I definitely I wouldn't classify myself as a car guy, but I certainly I've always gravitated towards the Challenger because I've always liked their look. I mean, it's unmistakable. You see a Challenger coming up behind you in the rearview mirror, you know it's a Challenger, and if you see it, you know, driving, it's unmistakable. So it's I like that in terms of a personal car, but a movie car, I got to go with the DeLorean.
Quick question. I can answer this quickly for Colin Altman. Tony, what country outside of the United States would you like to photograph? I'm just assuming for landscape photos and not my horror theme stuff. Iceland, hands down, Iceland. Although I will say this, Banff up in Canada is
Banff.
Is it Banff?
Yeah, it's like BANFF, Banff.
Okay, I'm pronouncing every letter.
It's okay. It's gorgeous up there too.
It's beautiful up there too. Yeah. So like probably Iceland because it's just looks like another. Iceland just looks like another world, man. It's the landscape of that is so beautiful there. So for sure, probably I'd have to that, and Norway is gorgeous as well too. But Iceland is top on my list. It's just such a beautiful country.
Even some places in Alaska is beautiful too.
Alaska as well too.
That'd be awesome. Let's see what's going on in the chat here. Michelle's telling somebody to shut up. Hopefully people are keeping it civil. Keep it nice now, people. Keep it nice. We all love you. I think you got, hey, I can't speak for any other channel, but the live streams that I do, even without Tony and with you, and every now and then there's a bad egg that comes along, but for the most part, I think we got some great viewers that are just awesome,
and some really really good questions like movie chat here. Or just ask Dave and Tony, do you think Urban Legends is underrated? I agree. In fact, I want to convince Dave to do a double feature like we did with Sleepaway Camp and what was the other one we did? Jeez,
April Fool's Day.
April Fool's Day. I think we should do a Urban Legends and I Know What You Did Last Summer night. The first I know, not the two first. Yeah, yes. And the reason why is I don't know if we could do a full 90 minutes of the first I Know, but we could do 90 minutes of a double feature of I Know What You Did back, piggybacking with Urban Legends off of that.
That's true. That might not be a bad idea. I'd be down for that. I'd have to watch both those movies again.
It's a fun film. It's a fun 90s horror film. It's part of the Dawson's Creek era.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. The Scream, the first Scream is not a Dawson's Creek kind of thing, but I get what you're saying. Yeah, it's all part of that. Super chat from Grave Warmer. Thanks, Grave. Says, do you feel the choice to have killed Han Solo via Kylo Ren was a good choice, or would you have done otherwise? Oh, I've talked about this ad nauseum on this channel, and just a quick recap, I think it was crucial to Kylo Ren's character arc. The symbolism in that scene is vitally important. It wasn't just an emo kid killing his dad. He had to kill his father to prove that, because he has a temper and he's extremely powerful, but nobody takes him seriously. People take Kylo Ren seriously, not because he's respected, but because in that first film, but because he's powerful, and he knows that, and he wants to be taken seriously because of the guts, because of the grit that he has, because he's honored and respected that way, and he knew that he had to murder his own father to show everybody, to show Snoke, because that's what Snoke meant when he said, even you have never faced such a test. That's what Snoke meant. Does he have the balls to do it? Does Kylo Ren have the balls to kill his own father and prove that he's ready to be the baddest motherfucker in the galaxy? Can he do that? Can he do it? And he did it. And when he said, I know what does he say? I know what I'm supposed to do, but I don't have the strength. I don't know if I have the strength to do it. Everybody, thinks he means, I know that I should be coming with you to the light side, but that's not what he meant. That's not what he meant. He meant, I know I need to kill you, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it. It was wonderful symbolism there that was sort of diverted. Yeah, it was wonderful misdirect for the audience. And of course, Han Solo's like, yeah, it's okay, because he thinks that's what he means. That's not what he means. He's crying because he knows what he has to do in order to be one step further to being his ultimate goal, which is exactly like his grandfather, Darth Vader. It's a wonderful scene. And when you look at it from that perspective, it's not just some emo kid killing his dad and, killing a character that we all love. No, it had to happen. Yeah. So yeah, that's how I feel about it. Okay.
Jostin Valdera, hey, Dave and Tony, you guys rock. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
My question is, what other big movies are you looking forward to in the next several months? Geez, I don't know. We're about to go into a great run, though. That's for damn sure.
Well, I'm looking forward to Lion King.
Lion King. That was I was kind of going away from horror there.
The next 6 months, you said?
Couple months. I think you meant couple months. So Lion King, that's in a few weeks. The Tarantino film in August there. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I'm looking forward to that. Midsummer, Annabelle, Joker later this year.
Later this year. Yeah,
we got a fun. I know it's not. I know it's a streaming TV series, but Stranger Things, that's in a few weeks. I know it's not a movie, but I'm very looking forward to that. I mean, we're just about to Child's Play. I said from this weekend. Now we're about to go on a fun fucking run with movies and shit that's coming out.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yep. No, I agree. Let's see here. Let's see here. What is this? Trey Jackson. I'm handling fools, so you best stay out of it. If you messed up, Michelle Larch, are you still a little girl? Oh, Trey.
Boy.
Trey.
James Polish. Polish. Wow. Dude, I know I butchered that. My bad.
It's all right, folks. Trey is gone. Although he probably will be back under another name.
Different name. Do you like George P. Wilbur's performance as Michael in Age 4 or in 6? I'm not a really big fan of 6, but 4 is fine. You could have done without the shoulder pads, and if they just tweaked that mask up and made it a little bit more, it did look. The mask.
Tom Tucker. Is that the one you read? Did you read?
No. James Paul Shays or whatever.
Oh, because David King said something. Better Myers, George P. Wilbur or Tom Tucker from Family Guy as George P. Wilbur?
No, there's another
one.
All
right.
4 is my favorite in the Halloween franchise, so I'm always going to go to that. But with regards to maybe just, like I said, a couple of tweaks, remove the shoulder pads. And look, when it comes to the mask, there's no way you could have got, based on the storyline, to have gotten the exact same mask that Michael wore because it burned. It was crisp. But you could have put some effort into it and make it look somewhat close like the original. And I think had they done that and put a little effort and not so pasty, changes the dynamics of the film entirely.
Right.
And George didn't need the shoulder pads. He's a fucking big dude to begin with. Why?
Yeah, I don't understand
into that shoulder pad shit. I don't get it, but whatever.
Yeah, I agree. George P. Wilbur put on a little bit of weight between 4 and 6.
He did. He was big.
So
in 6.
Yeah, he was a little stout. So or a little rotund. Yeah. So I prefer his look in Halloween 4.
Yep.
And you can't go wrong with Tom fucking Tucker from Family Guy.
No, absolutely.
So there you go. Let's see here. Great questions tonight, guys. You guys are always awesome with the questions.
Which I'm not even going to try. What are your guys' respective number one favorite films of all time? That Karate Kid. I've said that before.
Oh, that's your number one favorite film of all time?
Yeah, I said that.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, I guess you did. That's very hard for me. I don't really know. My number one favorite movie of all time. Jeez, I don't know. It's a great question, but it's almost like it's hard for me to figure that out. It's hard for me to figure that out. Good question though. Crystal Lake Counselor 1977 says Ivan Drago will be in Creed 3. Dolph confirmed this weekend. Oh, I didn't hear about that. Oh, that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate they're doing another Creed.
Everyday Horror, Dave and Tony, what is your fastest mile in a 5K? Question. I think my fastest that I've ever had kept track of and you're talking about 1 mile now. You're not talking about the whole 5. Right. Was it was like 650 something. It was like there. It was like just under 7. I mean, it's not like Olympic shit or anything in like super.
No, well, you're jogging. You're not out there fucking training for the. It's the same with me. I mean, now I don't even know. I mean, I run 5K a few times a week, and it takes me like 25, 30 minutes or whatever. So I'm probably like 8 minutes every mile now because 5K is about 3 miles. But I'm jogging. I'm not in any
well, that's
kind
what
of
I was saying. Like
training.
I jog.
Yeah, like if back in high school when I was running and working out like a madman because I wanted to look fit for the girls, I remember doing like 6.5 minute miles. You know what I mean? But now I'm not like, what the fuck am I going to be out there? I'm just like, no, I just want to enjoy this run, get some exercise, and so yeah.
I agree. I did 6.5 miles today, and my time was 52 minutes. I did 6.5 miles in 52 minutes. So that's not bad.
That's pretty good. Yep, that's very good. Let's see here. We'll go for a few minutes, go a few minutes longer, see if you guys, let's see. Somebody we haven't got before.
Yeah, there was a few. Blu-ray Addict, favorite dark comedy. Texas Chainsaw 2 is a great dark comedy. I love Happy Death Day. This movie has caught me by surprise.
It was good.
I thought I was going to fucking hate it, and it just turned out to be a fun fucking movie. That's a great black horror comedy movie. God, what else?
Yeah, that's I don't know, dark comedy. I don't really know. Child's Play 2019. It almost is kind of like that.
It's right there with it. It's borderline.
It's borderline. So no, I don't know. That's a good question. Dark comedy off the top of my head. I don't know.
Sleepaway Camp, is that dark comedy? I don't know. Is it dark cheesy?
No, that's just. Sorry, I don't know why I'm yawning so much. That is just simply early '80s B horror movie slasher cheese. That's what that is. Nick says 7 Psychopaths is a great black dark comedy about serial killers. Oh yeah, I haven't seen that movie, but I know the movie you're talking about. Isn't Christopher Walken in that movie?
I think you're right. Yeah.
Come on. Hello. I'm in 7 Psychopaths.
The Film Addict, Dave. Should John Carpenter show up in the sequel and kill Myers?
Then it becomes a black comedy. No, I don't think John Carpenter should show up and kill. I think it'd be cool if John Carpenter had a cameo in the movie.
That would be fun. Kind of like Craven did. Craven did that in Scream.
Yeah, like maybe Allison goes into a convenience store and John Carpenter's just the clerk behind the counter, just something like that or whatever. Let's see here. Kyle Sanders, says, any chance of a Back to the Future show? Oh, you know what? Tony and I have sort of tossed that around. We might do a Back to the Future show. That might be kind of fun. Might be kind of fun. No immediate plans, but definitely that's not something that I would like say absolutely no to. Let's see here. The Smokey says, can John act? I don't think he needs to. I think he can, because let's not forget, he was also in the beginning of The Fog. He was in the church there at the beginning of The Fog, and he always downplays that role. Oh, it's terrible and blah, blah. No, John's not an actor, but John Carpenter could sit behind a convenience store counter and somebody could come in and go, hi, where's the such and such and such? And he could go, aisle 6, row 7 or whatever. Like he could do that, and you'd be like, oh, that's John Carpenter, cool. A little. That's what I mean, like a little cameo, kind of like that. Not a like he's not a supporting caster, I think.
PC Pierce, trapped on an island. What 3 movies and 3 albums do you want with you? Ooh, good question. Damn, only 3 movies and 3 albums. Okay.
Right now, this changes. But right now, because I just watched Black Christmas again the other night with my buddy Bruce. Black Christmas, Empire Strikes Back, Shawshank Redemption. Because Shawshank Redemption, it's all about redemption, hope, and am I ever going to get off this island? That's always a good one. Albums, I don't know. Back in Black. Got to have some AC/DC there.
Yeah.
Maybe something by Zeppelin. And maybe, I don't know. I don't know.
My 3 albums would be I have a Nirvana Black album. It's a Nirvana Black album, and it's got all their greatest hits on it. It's got from Bleached to Nevermind to In Utero to their live Unplugged. It's got and it's a vinyl, so that would be number 1. So I got pretty much all my favorite Nirvana songs in one album.
Right.
Motley Crue, Dr. Feelgood, because that was the first album I ever purchased, and that's my treasured album in my collection. And then probably my Queen Greatest Hits album, because Queen is 3rd on my list of favorite groups.
Queen would be great to have. Another one bites the dust, and another one's gone, and another one's gone, another one bites the dust. Hey,
movies, Karate Kid for sure.
Debbie Does Dallas.
Yeah, some good old porn. Porn compilation, because you're gonna need it.
Compilation
highlight video, like 3 straight hours of like the best porn scenes ever.
3 straight hours.
And it can be 3 hours, so can a porn compilation movie, right? So in seriousness, I would say Karate Kid, Rocky, and both motivational movies for sure.
That's why I picked Shawshank. Yeah.
And then, I mean, I feel like bad not saying a Halloween film, because it would suck not to be able to watch Halloween again. So I'll throw Halloween 4 in there, The Return of Michael Myers.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Cool.
All right, we'll go around and seeing if there was anything else in my collection that I would want, but that'd probably be it. Yeah.
All right, Tony and I. You know what? We'll go another
couple more.
Yeah, we'll go 9:40. So 7 more minutes. 7 more minutes, folks. Okay, Johnny Raven. What about Bob? Is a classic straight up. I agree. One of my favorite comedies of all time. Josh Penderger's worst Halloween ripoff movie. Worst Halloween ripoff movie. I think there's more Friday the 13th ripoff movies.
I agree.
I don't know what a Halloween ripoff movie would be. That's a good question. I don't know. Is there one? I mean, is there a Halloween ripoff movie?
I'm sure there is.
There probably is, but I think there's probably more Friday the 13th. I'm not sure. Let's see here. Robert Thidoff says, what about a reboot, The Incredible Hulk TV series, or continuation in which Bill Bixby's character had an out-of-wedlock son who is now an adult that transforms into the Hulk and is on the run? Yes, do it! Fucking do it! I'll watch it! Do it!
Go for it. Patrick Ollinger, Tony, are you a fan of Black Sabbath? Oh yeah, fucking love me some Ozzy.
Black Sabbath, yeah.
They're good shit.
Yeah, I thought it was something like that.
What? What did you say?
I thought it was
Kenny 525, thoughts on Sleepy Hollow? Johnny Depp, Sleepy Hollow, loved it. Great Tim Burton film.
I haven't seen that in years.
Great film. Love it. Love the mood. Love the atmosphere of that. Definitely just all around good film.
Yeah, I agree. Frank Riker, super chat. Thanks, Frank. No questions tonight, just a super chat for many thanks. Hey, much appreciated, buddy. Awesome. Let's see here. James Polches, maybe. The best Halloween ripoff is Friday the 13th.
That's true.
I get what you're saying.
Inspired by.
It's inspired by. Yeah, it's a bit different, but yes, it was inspired by. Yeah. That's a good point. That's a good point. Let's see here. John Burke says favorite Bill Murray role. Yeah, I definitely say probably Ghostbusters and What About Bob? I mean, I just have an affection for that movie. Oh, and Groundhog Day.
I'm gonna go with Stripes.
He's great. Stripes is good.
Stripes, man.
Stripes is good.
Groundhog or Caddyshack is decent. I love his character, Caddyshack.
Yeah.
But Stripes, I'm gonna go with Stripes, and I'll probably say Ghostbuster. I love him as Venkman. I mean, but Stripes, him in Harold Ramis, John Candy.
Oh God,
such a good movie.
It is. It is a good movie. I feel like watching that tonight. Kyle Sanders says new Stranger Things trailer was pretty different from the first. It was
more epic. I hope they don't go away from that small town independent feel vibe. It seems very epic. It
does. I know
the 80s was over the top, and I get it. So I hope it still has what the first two seasons. Town indie vibe.
Barring any massive news, Tony and I are going to be talking Stranger Things next week.
Yes, sir. Starting off with season 1 and 2.
Yes, and then the following weekend we're going to be doing season 3 because it will be out at that time. So just a little bit of a heads up, guys.
You guys
barring any massive news that could change that. But anyway, let's see here.
Scrooge. Scrooge is good too for another Bill Murray movie. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good one. That's one I haven't seen in a while, but that was good. Yep. Let's see here. Tim F says, what if Castle played the Shape in the original Halloween 2? I don't know. What if? We'd probably get a Castle-like performance in Halloween 2. Exactly. I don't even think he was asked. I stand to be corrected. I think he was busy anyway, but I don't even think he was asked, if memory serves. But I don't know. I mean, that was at a time when people didn't really feel that what he was doing was integral to the character. Right. Because I mean, at that time, it just, you didn't have the 40-year perspective and the multitude of movies to look at and give it context.
Right. And just like how beautifully Castle was. And
right. In comparison.
When you look at my photos, I really try hard to really mirror the Nick Castle, Michael Myers. I don't go for the big brooding guy. I go for the 5'10", slim and slender guy. Because that's my favorite version. Even though I love Halloween 4, I love the Nick Castle, Michael Myers.
Yes, exactly.
But hey, Dick, good old Tricky Dicky. Not even though Tricky Dicky. Even though Tricky Dicky was.
Oh my God, that's great. Tricky Dicky. If I'm at a convention where Dick Warlock is, I'm going to.
You'd be like, hey, my buddy Tony says you are Tricky Dicky.
I'm just like that's his
wearing them high waters. Wearing them high waters.
Tricky Dicky. Nobody knows why he's called Tricky Dicky. It's just Tricky Dicky. He's Tricky Dicky. He's tricky. He's tricky little Dicky.
This is what I love about the horror community. There was a shot I took with my buddy, and I had him hike up the overalls just a tad because I felt the scene that we were shooting. I was like, man, you look like Warlock in this. I'm like, let's hike up that. And somebody on Instagram called me out on that. They were so like, dude, you went so Dick Warlock because
absolutely.
I never understood in the filmmaker's eyes, like, why do you got his high waters going on?
Right.
Like,
that's
you couldn't get it down to the boot level, like, and just flush it.
Right. Yes. Yeah, exactly.
I never understood that in Halloween 2.
Exactly. No, I agree. All right. Couple more here. Let's see. Michelle Larsh is just laughing her ass off.
She has asked you a couple times to do Trump again. Can you do something Trump?
Oh, God. I don't know. Michelle, it's great. You're amazing. We've been dating for 5 years now, and I'm just going to dump you on the sidewalk. Okay? You're done.
That's not like what Trump would do.
It's over. I don't care about it.
It's not fake
You're nothing
news.
to me. You're fake.
But we love you anyway. So.
There you go. That's right. Let's see. Patrick Ollinger says, Dave, are you going to see Toy Story 4? Yes, but I probably won't go to the theater to see it.
Yeah. Blu-ray Addict, favorite portrayal of Jason. His is Kane Hodder. Mine is I think it's 3 guys. I mean, I know what's his name is known for Jason in part 2. He passed away not too long ago, right?
The guy that played him in part 2?
Yeah,
he passed away like a year and a bit ago or whatever. 2 years ago.
He's one, but there was actually, from my understanding, there was 2 or 3, I think, that played Jason in part 2. There was a couple other guys. If someone in the chat room helped me out with this, because I'm almost positive that is correct.
Well, the guy coming through the window was a different guy, I believe. Like at the end of Friday the 13th Part 2. Yeah, that was somebody different. I believe anyway. Usually in those movies, there's I mean, even in, the original Halloween, we know that Deborah Hill, Tommy Lee Wallace, Tony Moran. I mean, I mean, it happens. The question is that
Gillette, that was one of the guys. Steve Dash,
Well, he was the main guy. Yeah, Steve Dash. I love that name. It sounds like I grew up with a kid. My best friend who lived beside me when I was a young boy, his name was Johnny Steele. And I'm like, geez, that sounds like a fucking superhero name or something, Johnny Steele, Steve Dash. It sounds like the next Avengers or something. I love it.
No, Jason 2 is my favorite Jason. And it's not that I don't like the hockey mask Jason. I mean, I have a couple of them hanging back there. I just really like the quirky, almost the silliness of him in Part 2.
Yes.
But the other thing is he's a little more brutal in Part 2 because dude, he kills a freaking paraplegic. I mean, really, a defenseless paraplegic.
He does.
Jason has.
That's one of my favorite kills of the whole series.
It's probably
because I love how the wheelchair comes down the back, and I think it's raining too, isn't it, or something?
It is raining. It's such a great shot. They did a great job with that. I think it was for just a combination of just how it is and how it was all put together with the potato sack and just I like that version of Jason. I really wish that they would have kept it. It would have been interesting to see how the series would have progressed if they kept Jason like that. I mean, the hockey mask is iconic, and Kane Hodder. I liked him in Part 7, but I'm not a fan of 8 or 9.
Right,
or 10.
Right. Yeah, I got you. Okay, so that's gonna do it for Tony and I here on episode 28 of Two Dudes and Some Bullshit, talking Child's Play 2019 and answering your awesome questions. I want to say once again, thank you to each and every one of you who contributed to the channel through Super Chats. It is greatly appreciated. It does not go unnoticed. And also thanks to each and every one of you in the chat room that were watching the show, paying attention. I think you guys are awesome. Truly. I mean, again, I can't speak to anybody else's channel, but I think I've got some great viewers, and the questions are always great, and you really make Tony and I think, and that's always, it's not just surface level shit. You guys ask some pretty awesome stuff. So thank you again for watching each week and help supporting the channel and the show. You guys are awesome. And fantastic Power of the Night, Johnny Steele Critters. Oh, yeah, I get it. I get you, Dad. Anyway, Tony, any last things you want to say?
No, Michael Anderson, I agree with what you said. Friday 2 is the best scary Jason, and 6 is the most fun. 100% agree on that. And guys, get ready for the next 2 weeks here. Stranger Things. I know a lot of you guys have been asking me and Dave to do it, so I'm looking forward to, next weekend to do season 1 and 2, and then obviously we'll talk season 3 here when it drops here the following week. So that's going to be a lot of fun here over the next 2 weeks and getting into the Upside Down in 11.
Yes. So now next week when Tony and I come on screen, we both will be hanging upside down. So just to let you guys know, we're going to be doing the show 2 hours completely upside down. Can you imagine? Can you imagine if we did that? Oh my God. Hey, maybe I could just flip our cameras upside down.
Maybe there's a way in OBS that you can actually just flip it. In Photoshop, you can just flip a photo and upside down.
Exactly. So, maybe we'll try that. That would be very annoying to the viewer. All right. Okay, guys, have a great rest of your Sunday night, and we'll talk to you guys soon.